Wonderful Malvern, Worcestershire sunshine. That's a tongue twister and a half for me to say. But you are pivotal people to giving the athletes their all so they can go hammer and tongs with our STIHL Timbersports Pro Championships of 2025. Okay, without further ado, we're going to get some athletes out. But just before that, we are going to welcome our judges and technical officials to the stage. Firstly, let's welcome on Mr. Andy Hall. And Bart Janssen. So that's our on-stage team, and we also welcome in our truck video judge and his team, Jules Janssen, who'll be casting their keen eye over proceedings. There they are in the truck over to my right-hand side. Hello, Jules. And now, folks, it is time to introduce the real people that matter, of course, our pro athletes. Please welcome onto the stage, firstly, qualified yesterday from Powys in Wales, it's Martin Price. Next up, a legend of timber sports in Great Britain. He was a runner-up in 2019 from Knighton in Wales, it's Johnny Lewis. Next, onto the stage for our 2025 competition, former rugby player from Denbigh in Wales, Osh Williams. And next up, the first of three competitors from the Republic of Ireland, smashing 5 personal bests yesterday. Please welcome Seamus Ryan. Another Irish competitor who smashed 6 personal bests yesterday, all in a lunchtime. It's Gavin Johnson. And next up, an Irish record holder and top qualifier yesterday. Please welcome Dara Clogger. Okay, already pre-qualified. Onto the stage now, forestry trainer from West Sussex. Please welcome Joe Groom. Next up from Team GB, we have the one, the only, George Spencer. Next up, a record holder from Great Britain, part of Team GB, it's Tom Redmond. Another member of Team Great Britain and Scotland's first ever pro athlete, it's Graham Turner. Penultimately now, last year's runner-up, a former champ and 2 times a record holder at STIHL Timbersports, Rob Chatley. And finally, our top British pro, the 3-time reigning Timber Sports champion. Please give it up for Glenn Penlington. So, Troy, we have our cast of top athletes, our stars. What can we expect from competition today?
Well, all I can tell you is the competition today is going to be intense, especially seeing as we added a few additional surprises in there with our Irish athletes. They were fantastic during the qualification yesterday, and they might put a bun in the bonnet of a few of our guys here to really motivate them to do well today. And again, we welcome everybody who's watching us on the live stream here to the Great British Championship, Pro Championship 2025. We hope you do enjoy the proceedings, and it is going to be fun. 6 events coming your way in 3 rounds, culminating in the Hotsaw at the end of the day. But before that, these athletes have to survive the first 2 rounds. So before we go further into that, let's check out our competition format and how this is going to work.
The STIHL Timbersports individual competition. In the first round, all athletes compete in 3 disciplines: the underhand chop, the stock saw, and the standing block chop. The times achieved will be converted into points upon completion of each discipline. In round 1, a difference of 1 point applies in each discipline, thus the fastest athlete received 12 points, and the slowest only 1 point. Any rule infraction will result in a disqualification, and the athlete will receive 0 points for that discipline. At the end of the first round, the athletes with the lowest scores are eliminated. Only 8 athletes make it to the second round. In this second round, the remaining athletes compete in the single buck and the springboard for increased scores. With 2 points difference between placings, the fastest athlete now receives 16 points and the slowest receives 2. The 2 athletes with the lowest total points are eliminated at the end of round 2. Only the top 6 reach the third round. In the third round, anything is still possible in the Hotsaw, as an increased score interval of 3 points applies in this final round. The fastest athlete can score up to 18 points at the Hotsaw, the slowest only 3 points. The athlete who manages to achieve the highest total score across all 3 rounds is the new champion.
And we're going to get going from this spot right here for the remainder of the day, so enjoy this.
Yeah, thanks, Troy. Yes, thank you, Troy. We're about to get underway with our very first discipline, the underhand chop. Let's see what equipment we need to use and what this discipline is all about.
The axes used in timber sports definitely can't be bought at your local hardware store. Made from special steel, the blade is hand sanded with an angle of 13 to 16 degrees. It's custom built and carefully adjusted for each competition. The weight is around 3 kilos and it's about 80 centimeters long. The blade is so sharp that you could shave with it. Underhand chop. In the past, the underhand chop technique was used to split logs. Standing on a horizontally anchored block, the athletes cut through a 32-centimeter log. The block has to be worked from both sides.
Okay, so the underhand chop, here's our start list. We have 6 heats. Our top athletes ready to go. Tom Redmond and George Spencer will go in heat 1. Heat 2, we have Graham Turner and Osh Williams. And then it's a British-Irish affair in heat 3, Joe Groom and Gavin Thompson. Heat 4, Seamus Ryan, Martin Price, Dara Cloher and Johnny Lewis in heat 5. And Battle of the Big Guns, heat 6, Rob Chatley and Glenn Penlington. We're about to get to grips with the wood.
All right, our season's best as well is 18.74 second. The world record for this discipline, 11.81. And the wood has been cutting very, very well as we get ready for our first heat with Tom Redmond and George Spencer. And we should point out that this is not elimination at this point. This is just about getting that adrenaline up and getting the fastest time possible. And here are our 2 athletes coming on stage now for heat number 1 in the underhand chop.
So this is Tom Redmond with a personal best underhand chop. Around 29 seconds. George Spencer, 50.12, his best time. We're ready to go.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, Tom Redmond in there very quickly, timing his entrance into the log right with the go. And George Spencer right there with him as both of them are chipping out some really nice pieces off that block. George Spencer over to the second side about, oh yeah, he's well ahead of Tom Redmond on that second side. Redmond comes over to that second side about 5 drivers behind George. So George may well get a PB time here if he can get through there nice and quick today. He's got to beat 50 seconds, which I imagine he should be able to do. It looks like it's wiggling and waggling. One more driver should do it for George Spencer. A PB of 39.8, and Tom Redmond with a 32.37. Really nice first run to start us off. What a great way to get this competition underway.
Okay, in comes Judge Andy Hall for the final verdicts on our first heat.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Nice
Troy,
to see.
we are off to a flyer.
We are off to a flyer. George Spencer obliterating his previous personal best of 50.12, taking 20 seconds off of that, getting a 30.63 personal best. So that's fantastic for George. The wood has been really cutting well as we look back here on the slow-mos. And George started this off great, switched to that other side really, really quickly. So obviously George has been working hard on the underhand chop to make sure that he is up to snuff to be able to compete with all the big guns here. And he did have a big gun with George, or with Tom Redmond next to him on stage.
Yeah, and in our 40th anniversary year, both our athletes smashing that up like a birthday piñata.
No chocolates coming out of the middle of that one, fortunately.
Okay, so the heats come thick and fast, and we're ready with heat 2. We have Scotland's finest Graham Turner and the Welsh wizard Osh Williams.
Watching these guys and looking at the tail of the tape, personal best for them are not too far off of each other. 38.80 for Osh Williams, 40.31 for Graham Turner. But based on what we've been seeing so far this weekend, the blocks are cutting really well. So I imagine these two guys, under the circumstances, should be able to drop a couple of personal bests, but it's up to them and their axe choice. So let's see.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Right away, some power drivers for Osh Williams and for Graham Turner. Osh chipping out some big, big pieces of wood there as he gets going on the first side of his block. Graham, a little bit more of a closed face on this first side, and he switches to the second side, has to step down to regain his balance, but that didn't take him long to get back up on top. Osh now moving over to the second side, about 6 drivers behind Graham, and Graham looking really good. He's one-siding it, and oh my goodness, look at the time! Yes. 27.06 for Graham Turner. That's a huge improvement for him. Osh Williams getting close to being through there as well. He's gone close on that first side, got a little bit sticky, but now he is through it in a 40.59. Oh no! Unfortunately for him, it's not going to be a personal best, and Graham Turner will take that one any day of the week, though.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
All right, so Graham Turner drops himself a personal best on that block, looking very good out there. Osh was close, but just a couple of seconds delayed him. A few sticky axes, that's one example right there, where he got it in a little bit too deep, but he was chipping out really nicely through the start of this cut here. A little steppy, but not too dramatic, and you can see he got it with all the power that he has. He got a couple of sticky axes in there. This one was Graham's drive through, and you can see Osh got it sticky again, and that really just, it drags your time down through the mud.
Yeah, and always heartening to see athletes posting personal best, and 2 of our 4 athletes already notching up personal best, Troy. Lovely to see. And we are in our 40th anniversary year this year, 2025. We're going to have a look now at the rich and glorious history of STIHL Timbersports throughout the years.
Expert woodsman who can cut down a tree more easily than most people can chop one up. When it really comes to tackling large lumps, you can't beat the men of the forestry companies.
An axeman's gathering.
This is Thomas losing the ones that gets it.
Awesome stuff. Yes, so we're already off to a flyer here. 2 of our heats down in the underhand chop. Troy, quick summary of what you've seen so far. 2 personal bests already posted. We're off to a frenetic start.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen really good cuts on the wood lately this weekend and the earlier shows that we've had here as well. And I mean, the choice of axe plays a key role, obviously, and a couple of these guys have made really good axe choices on the test blocks, and we've seen the personal best drop. And we always like to see the personal best go by the wayside, because that shows you, one thing, the wood is good, and two, the guys have been training and making sure that they're on par and fit for these competitions, because the winner from this competition will qualify to go to the World Championships in October later this year, and they've got to be on point if they want to compete with the world's best.
Yep, eyes on the prize for Milan come the autumn time. Now, our next heat, Heat 3, sees Joe Groom take the stand with Gavin Thompson.
And again, you see the tail of the tape there, personal best really close to each other. Joe Groom, he's a big man, he's a strong man. Gavin Thompson, he was destroying the blocks yesterday. Rumor has it that he's got a massive collection of My Little Ponies, so that's quite interesting. But I've also heard that he wants to sell that collection and become a worm farmer. I don't know. This is just information that I've passed on.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, great start by Joe Groom. He got way up on high with that axe and just went in there. But look at this. Look at the pace between these two guys, Alex. They are fast and furious into that block. To heck with aim and just go for the speed and power. Gavin onto the other side of his block. Joe Groom following about 3 drivers behind. And this has got some speed here. We might see a really good time for both of these guys here as they're just passing the 24-second mark. And it's looking very good for Gavin Thompson as he's getting close to it. Oh, he got a sticky one though. And he is through at 31.81, a personal best. Joe Groom looking to get through there quickly. And he also has a PB of 35.73. And again, great job by these two guys, absolutely murdering those blocks with speed. Oh, look at that big sliver chip that came off. Man, oh man.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Yeah, I mean, both of those guys have really, really good times. Right now, Gavin Thompson sitting in 3rd in the underhand chop, and Joe Groom in 5th. So, you know, these times bode well for them. But based on what we're seeing, you know, the times are just real quick through these blocks. But the thing that's really impressive about these two guys here is the pace that they were hitting at. They were just bang, 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 bang. There was nothing about aiming in this project at all. They were just going for it.
See our on-stage camera shaking with the power that's his Joe Groom stand. Incredible stuff.
And actually, if you look at those sides on Joe Groom's block, they were very smooth. So he had really pretty decent accuracy. It wasn't very steppy as I thought it would be based on the speed that they were hitting.
Okay, so Heat 4, we have Seamus Ryan and Martin Price, 2 of our qualifiers from yesterday.
And again, really balanced personal best for both of these guys, just a hair over 36 seconds for each of them. So it should be a good battle. Again, we're not eliminating these guys when they're up on stage against each other. This is just about getting the fastest possible time and to get as many points as possible.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
So Martin Price on the right-hand side of the stage and Seamus Ryan on the left-hand side, opposite in this picture shot here as we look out over the beautiful crowd that's accumulated here in Malvern for this competition, and both of them looking really good. Martin Price switching over to the second side ahead of Seamus by 2 drivers. Seamus joining him on that second side as they begin to chip out on the side facing our audience here. And it looks really good for both of these guys to get through in a nice time. Seamus might be there fairly quickly. Martin Price looks like he is almost there as he gets through there. And he's done it in 34.30, personal best. Seamus, a couple of sticky ones there as he's struggling to try and power through that block. And he's done it in 41.47. So a quick check to make sure that he's got everything fair on his block. It looks good.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Troy, why do we see so many personal bests tumbling today? Athletes on great form, preparation, training.
Well, there's a bunch of things that factor in here, and I had a long conversation with Bart Janssen about this yesterday. Basically, this competition wood that they've got is in perfect shape to accommodate the athletes when they choose the right axe and when they're in good shape to accommodate good records and breaking personal bests. So that's what we've seen all weekend long so far, and that's what we're seeing again here today on stage during our Great British Pro Championship.
All right, so we have a couple of heats left to go in this underhand chop discipline. And it's Graham Turner who's currently taking the full fat 12 points, but he's there to be knocked at.
Well, as you see there, Graham Turner with those full 12 points. Just behind him is George Spencer. And then Gavin Thompson in a very nice third place. But those guys could well be upset by the next two heats coming up, because we have some of our top athletes coming up in those two heats. In heat number 5, we have Derek Lower and John Lewis. And then in heat number 6, we have Rob Chatley and Glenn Pendlington. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and Dara's coming into this on top form, and he's in the next heat, Troy. And like we say, we are celebrating our 40th birthday this year. We've had cake and party poppers here in our studio truck tent. And it's been a wonderful celebration so far, hasn't it?
It has been fantastic. And to celebrate those 40 years, we've made a video. Let's take a look at that right now.
Lovely look at Milan, where you're heading in October, Troy, for the World Championships.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, those World Championships are just bananas. The people love their timber sports athletes. There's fan clubs that come. They're waving the flags. The vibe is just absolutely amazing by those events.
Yeah, and we're hoping to keep the vibe going here in Great Britain for the next of our heats in the underhand chop. One to certainly watch out for right now. He was on top form yesterday, Derek Lower, from the Republic of Ireland, and he takes the stage alongside a legend of timber sports.
Absolute legend.
Johnny Lewis.
Derek Lower holds a national record for Ireland for this particular discipline, and he was also phenomenal in the springboard yesterday, doing a really, really good job topping the trio of Irish athletes there. And the two guys coming out on stage to get ready for their underhand chop. So I'm expecting big things from both of these guys.
I am as well. I know Dara's a sporting all-rounder. He plays rugby and badminton. And he's also got numerous medals for Irish dancing.
Haha, that's interesting. Irish
dancing. Fancy footwork.
Yeah, quick footwork. Well, he's going to need it on these blocks. And the balance will definitely play a role for him, for sure.
And once upon a time, Johnny Lewis was lifting portaloos with his bare hands.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Right into it, and look at the pace that John Lewis goes straight for speed. Derek Lower right there with him, though. Maybe not quite as quick on the pace as Johnny Lewis as he switches over to the other side and starts working on side number 2. Derek Lower 3 drivers behind Johnny Lewis as he moves to side number 2. And you can see those chips coming off beautifully for both of these guys. Johnny's front face is a little more closed than Dara's, but he had an open face on the backside, so it's looking good for him to get through here fairly quickly. And Dara's through at 31.26. Johnny Lewis almost there, that wall, and that's wiggling and waggling a little bit underneath the power of the big man. Oh, he's got a bit of a sticky one, though, and he's struggling to get through those last few drivers as he wants that to be gone.
Come on, Johnny.
Oh, that is a rough one for John Lewis at 48.83. He was expecting much more of that one. And I believe Dara Clore was also expecting more there, too.
Case over to Andy Hall for the final verdict.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Both cuts are good, but you could see the disappointment from both of these guys. They are competitors, and they definitely knew they had more in them, but sometimes it is really the luck of the draw, and as I was mentioning, the axe choice. You know, some axes pop that wood out better than others, and when this wood is behaving as it has done, you really have to be conscious of your axe choice. So these guys working hard to get through there. And Johnny was actually really quick to get to that second side, but that second side got sticky on him as he tried to power through the split.
You're right, Troy. I think Johnny will be disappointed. He's one of the most powerful men I know, full stop. And for him not to post a quicker time than he has done this afternoon will be a disappointment to him.
Absolutely. At the moment, Johnny's at the bottom of the list here for underhand chop. Dara managed to slip himself into third place.
This is a heat to get the juices flowing. The culmination of the underhand chop discipline now. Rob Chatley, a former champ, against the reigning and three-time in a row Great British champion, Glenn Penlington.
Rob still holds the national record for this underhand chop discipline, and by the tail of the tape, he definitely has the advantage. But you cannot count out that young man right there, Glenn Penlington. He is an absolute competitor, and he is not going to make life easy on Rob Chatley on the other side of that stage.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Watch the pace of these guys as they get into it. Now, Rob Chatley's going for pace and power, and Glenn Penlington, pure pace. And you could see for every one of Rob's hits, Glenn is getting in about 2, maybe 2.5 hits, and Glenn already onto that second side. Oh my goodness, how quick is Penlington here? He is just motoring through. Oh, we got a sticky one. Rob's got some power going on that second side now. Penlington almost there. Rob Chatley looking close to it as well. Penlington should have a personal best. Oh my goodness, neither of them do. And Rob Chatley at 26.53, Penlington 27.38, close, but man, was that a heat.
Crazy to say those weren't PBs, however, they have posted the first and third place times respectively. But it's, as always, the final call goes with Andy Hall.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Okay, that rubber stamps success for both our athletes, Rob and Glenn. And that also seals the deal on the underhand chop. Troy, talk us through what you've just seen there from these top pros.
Well, I expected there to be pace from both of them, but I didn't expect the pace that I saw from Glenn. I mean, he was just hammering away. And as I mentioned, for every one of Rob's power drivers, Glenn was going in with 2 to 2.5 hits on the block. Now, sometimes that can be a little bit troublesome as far as your aim and your driver hits, but sometimes it's also a benefit because you're going so fast that you're chipping out so much material you can get through really quickly. Rob, by virtue of his power, managed to get through a little faster than Glenn did on that one, so he did a great job. And let's take a look now at our underhand chop rankings, and as this is our first discipline, it's our overall as well.
Yes, so you'll see how the points are shared out there. Fastest time will get 12 points, and this will be the case in each of the 6 disciplines you'll see in our British Pro Championships today. And those 12 points go to Rob Chatley. Graham Turner taking 11 points. That's a startling personal best for Graham. And Glenn Penlington, our reigning champ, he posts 10 points. So it's all to play for as we hurtle towards our next discipline. This is where the chainsaws come out to play, Troy.
Our favorite toys.
Yeah, these little beauties. Let's see what they're all about and what this discipline entails.
The STIHL MS661CM stock saw is used in STIHL Timbersports as the ultimate test of operator skill. Designed for the toughest jobs in forestry, it produces approximately 7.3 horsepower, has a displacement of 91.1 cc, and weighs 7.4 kilograms. To ensure evenly and fairly matched saws, professional STIHL technicians prepare and test the saws before each competition. Stock saw. After the starting shot, the contestants have to cut 2 wooden discs, so-called cookies, within a 10-centimeter mark. 1 downward and 1 upward. The attempt is only valid when both discs have been cut off completely and within the marks.
Rightio, stock saw. 6 heats again. The first heat will see Tom Redmond and Martin Price. Then we have Graham Turner, Seamus Ryan. Right the way through to the final heat, heat 6, Johnny Lewis and Osh Williams, who are looking to recover and gain points as we continue this Great British Pro Championship of 2025. There we go, Tom Redmond, Martin Price.
Yeah, these two guys should be interesting to watch on stage. Also, you'll notice that the world record for this discipline is 8.51 seconds, and Gerald Lloyd got an 8.93 for the season's best. So that is 3rd best in the world right now by a British athlete, and that was done yesterday during the qualifier.
Okay, gentlemen. Warm up your saws. Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, Tom Redmond with a fantastic clip and pick. Oh, his transition was a little bit chunky, though, as he cut out, but noticed it in time. And there are 2 personal bests on deck, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Redmond and Martin Price, both with a PB, and looking at 10.27 for Tom and 10.37 for Martin. How close was that, Alex?
Yeah, extremely close. We'll get the final call now from Andy Hall.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Yeah, so let's pick the bones out of this now, Troy. It looks like the simplest timber sport out there, but I'm guessing that's not the case at all.
Well, no, it's really about feel for the machine. You got to listen to the machine. You can see here Tom got a really nice entry into the block, but his angle moved in towards the inside. So when he came up, understanding that he should be in alignment, the material just wasn't there, so he had a little cutout. So thankfully he noticed that and repositioned his saw within that marked line and managed to get that cut clean. And he did a good job to actually pay attention to what was happening. And this is also knowing your machine. If you feel like it's just not gripping, then there's got to be something wrong there. And he had a quick look over and made the adjustment. So good for him. And he actually managed to get 10.27, a personal best, even with that mistake. Imagine had he been there clean.
Okay, so heat 2 will be Graham Turner and Seamus Ryan. And you see, again, you've mentioned it before, Troy, personal bests are so close to each other, a matter of milliseconds.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, among the best athletes in the world in this discipline, there's not going to be a lot of difference between them. So really, it's about literally what you say, milliseconds to get the win or to, you know, be dropped down to the bottom of the ranking list. But between these two guys, it's anybody's game. So Graham Turner just getting there, setting up. And you'll see these guys will sometimes use a grease pen to mark the block just to give them a guideline where they want to start their first cut and guide them on their upcut.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saws. Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, dead even start by both of them. Look how thin that cookie is for Graham, though.
Thin.
Beautiful transition by Seamus. He should have a good cut here. Oh, yeah, Graham Turner, a PB 10.08, and Seamus with a PB 10.62. Those are unofficial times until we get the thumbs up from our judge, but that's a couple of nice cuts by those boys. And just to give you an example, Graham Turner's time puts him atop the leaderboard. Seamus is in 4th place. Unbelievable. Personal best across the board so far in Stocksaw, though.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
It just goes to show, Troy, there's 0.48 seconds between Graham at the top and Seamus, who's now in 4th place. It's minuscule.
It's unbelievably minuscule. Now, this was a beautiful start cut by Graham. You can see how thin that cookie was. It was risky thin. And here you can see the transition for Seamus. A little bit of a downswing, but he was on point with the upcut, and so was Graham. Beautiful cuts by both of those guys, staying away from that blue line, which is very critical, and a couple of nice cuts there and good times.
You often talk about thin to win.
Well, yeah, thin to win is I mean, you got to be careful with that as well. If you're too thin, you might break the cookie, you might cut away and cut out. But if you're a very thin cookie, then you're not dragging on the chain as much on your way down, so you can be quicker.
Okay, heat 3. Reigning champ Glenn Penlington. And one to watch, the mighty Joe Groom.
The mighty Joe.
The cookie monster.
He is a big cup of coffee, Joe Groom. Glenn Penlington there, you see 3-time national pro champion. Not that long ago, he was a rookie champion. So this kid, man.
Glenn, 34 years young. He's got a great career ahead of him, and he's in box seat
Still.
now. Yes, exactly.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saws. Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Very nice start there by Joe Groom. He's got a thin cookie. Glenn as well. Oh, that upcut by Glenn is looking really nice.
Yes.
And he's going to have a good time. Both of them with PBs as well. Glenn Penlington, 10.02, and Joe Groom a 10.68. But the transition by Joe was scary close to that line. Look how thick that second cookie is. So a big inspection there by Andy Hall to make sure everything is good. Let's see what the result is.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
That's why we call Joe the cookie monster. But Glenn, he had a little cursory glance around the front of the log here on that upcut, Troy. I think deep down, though, he knew he had the minerals.
I mean, look at that first cut there by Glenn, or that's Joe's cut, excuse me. That second cut, though, a massive swing transition, and Glenn's was nice. And Joe, lucky, he had a fat cookie on that second one, had some chocolate chips, and you got Grandma's favorite there. It was massive.
And it is Glenn who strides to the top of the leaderboard. He's in pole position right now to take all 12 points in first place. And it's only 0.2 of a second that separates him and Graham Turner. Rob Chatley, and our youngest competitor in the British Pro Championships, George Spencer. Both members of Team GB. And here they come.
George was typically the stock sawyer for the team. So he knows exactly what he needs to do here. He's got a very, very good personal best time of 10.33. And I'm just looking at our list here. Glenn Penlington's time has been adjusted to 9.94 seconds. So he's under the 10-second mark there along with Graham Turner.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saws. Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Beautiful pickup by both George and Rob. Rob looking very good. Nice transition by both of the guys. Man, this could be tight, but it is. George Spencer, 9.56 personal best. Rob Chatley, a 9.88. And that means George Spencer will go to the top of the stock saw list here.
George.
And I've just seen the check mark come next to his number, so George has got a 9.45. Beautiful cut.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
And Rob Chatley's adjusted to a 9.91, so those two guys have the top 2 positions right now. And again, just illustrating how quickly this can change, Alex.
Yeah, and it's incredible to see. So we have five of our athletes, of the first 5, I should say. If it had been this time last year, Troy, they would have all set the British record. So that is 5 times over in the course of one sitting. Incredible work. It just goes to show the training and the determination, the focus these athletes have got this afternoon here. Real improvements year on year.
What was most impressive about those 2 cuts from those guys, though, is there was 0 delay at all in getting into that block, and both of those first cookies were incredibly, dangerously thin. I mean, I would be sweating bullets if I saw that tiny piece of wood on the outside of my bar there. And you see our crew up there doing cleanup, and they'll collect those cookies because those are sought-after items for our audience members. They'll have STIHL spray painted on them, and they'll be given out to the audience members.
Yeah, make a lovely cheese board.
They do.
Home. Right, heat 5. 2 of our Irish competitors now, Gavin Thompson and yesterday's top qualifier, Dara Cloher. So these boys both meant business in our previous 2 disciplines already today, but this is the stock saw.
And both Gavin and Dara are sitting in 10th and 9th places respectively, so with this heat they could jump up the leaderboard significantly here.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saws. Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, no delay at all by Dara to get in there. Gavin, same thing for him. Directly into the wood. Upcut is Dara. Oh, how close were those cuts right there. 10.38 to a 10.66, just milliseconds separating the 2 guys. That's looking like a clean line there. 2 cookies on the deck, so we should be good to go for both of these guys with some nice times.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
All right, Gavin with a 10.25. That puts him squarely in the middle of the rankings right now in stock saw in 5th place. Let's look at this again. 0 delay for either of them getting into that block. Pull that trigger, make that first cut. Watch the transition right here. A little bit of a slide over, a bit of a fatter cookie, and a delay on the upcut for Dara. And Gavin with a beautiful second cookie. 2 thin to win is good to go.
Now this is our final heat now in the stock saw. And we're going to have Johnny Lewis and Osh Williams there. So yeah, Troy, there's literally a second between the top and 10th place so far with our last 2 athletes ready to perform. They'll be on the stage very, very shortly, just our clean-up crew.
Johnny Lewis is actually a really good stock sawyer, so it'll be interesting to see how he does here. And Osh Williams, wow, his tail of the tail. I didn't realize he was so quick there.
Yeah.
Man.
Osh yesterday really impressed in qualifying, and he's arguably in the form of his life now, and he's been part of the timber sports family for a fair while, and everything seems to be coming good at the right time.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saws. Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Nice start by Osh Williams. John Lewis with a beautiful thin cookie. Nice transition for both. Osh Williams struggling a little bit on the upcut, but he managed to make up for it. 10-14 to a 10-17. Osh Williams a hair faster than Johnny Lewis on that one. Nice run. Nice run.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
All right, we're 2 disciplines in so far, Alex, of 3 in round number 1. After this slow-mo, we'll take a real quick look at the standings for the stocks on how that affects the overall results. But look at those cookies there by Osh and Johnny. Okay, the second one for Osh was a little bit of a fatso, but nice cuts nevertheless.
All right, so let's have a look at the stock saw results and where the points go. Wonderful to see this board littered with PBs, personal bests, for the vast majority of our athletes. And the times today, Troy, so fast.
So fast. I mean, incredibly fast. But this is not the interesting one. I mean, yeah, of course it's interesting, but let's take a look at how this affects the overall standings here. If we can get that overall graphic up so we could see underhand chop is done. Stock saw is now done, and take a look at the overall rankings there.
Lovely infographic, the chopping and changing of positions.
So Rob Chatley takes over that top spot. Glenn Penlington in 3rd place, still in a good attack position as we head towards our next discipline, which will be the standing block chop.
Yeah, 1/3 of the way through. The standing block chop is up next.
But here's where these guys need to really perform, because the standing block chop is the last discipline in round 1. So they have to gain points here in order to be among the top 8 athletes that are going to move to the next round and continue on in this competition.
Standing block chop, it's an original extreme sport. It's an original timber sport. Let's have a look now at what it's all about.
Standing block chop. At the standing block chop, the felling of a tree with an axe is simulated. A vertically positioned wooden block with a diameter of 30 centimeters has to be cut through both sides. A powerful and precise swing with the axe is the premise of a good result.
Standing block chop, our heats. 6 heats again. As Troy's mentioned, we're going to be whittling down our athletes as we progress through the disciplines. This is our 3rd discipline, the standing block chop. Gavin Thompson and Joe Groom go in heat 1. George Spencer, Martin Price, heat 2. Osh Williams and Seamus Ryan in heat 3. Dara Cloher, Rob Chatley in heat 4. Heat 5 will see Graham Turner and Tom Redmond. And the final heats will be Johnny Lewis and Glenn Penlington. 2 proud Welshmen in the final heat.
Yeah, and this is a critical mass now for the guys that are a little bit lower down than the 5th and 6th places. They want to get some good points here because they need to be among the top 8 in order to be able to progress to the next round. And you can see the athletes setting up their blocks right now. Now, it is the responsibility of the athlete to place their blocks that they've received in the lottery into these stands and get them secured in place. So you can't say that somebody else messed with your block.
Otherwise, they'll knock your block off. Right, so, Troy, consistency is key throughout the events, and this is the last chance for our athletes to put themselves in the frame to be in the top 8. Now, we're looking at the top three right now. Glenn Penlington, 10 points in the underhand chop, 10 points in the stock saw, great consistency. George Spencer, he posted 9 in the first discipline, and a wonderful 12 points finish in the stock saw. Likewise for Rob Chatley, got the full fat 12 points in the underhand and 11 in the stock, so consistency is key.
Absolutely, and that's going to play a role for these athletes. If they can stay consistent throughout this competition, they're going to have those lovely points as we take a look at some of our skydivers coming in to celebrate the event here.
40 years of STIHL Timbersports.
40 years of STIHL Timbersports.
In Great Britain and across the world. So, yeah, flying the flag high over Malvern. There'll be more points dropping our athletes' way today.
All right, so it looks as though stage is set for our next set of heats in standing block chop.
Yeah, first up it's Gavin Thompson from Ireland, and from West Sussex in England, Joe Groom.
Gavin Thompson currently sitting on 13 points. You could say he's been consistent with 7 points in the underhand and 6 points in the stock saw. So here's an opportunity for him to gain some points and maybe move himself up in the ranking ever so slightly. Dara Clower is at the moment on the bubble in 8th place. But again, this is an opportunity for these guys to gain some points. Here we go.
Yeah. Joe's going to let loose with some pent-up frustration because one of his pet hates is seeing people take selfies with their pets, I believe.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
These guys are setting a good pace. They're pretty much on par with each other as far as their drivers. Gavin Thompson, really accurate hits on his block, moving over to the second side of his really quickly. Well, hopefully he can keep that calmness that he had on that first side and just continue. Look how smooth those sides were. Only one little step there. Joe Groom just going for pure power in trying to get through there. Gavin Thompson looking really accurate. He's going to drop that one, and 30.78, a PB for him, and a great job, and a nice PB for Joe Groom as well, in the 33.80. He almost looks disappointed at that, but you know, you got to be happy with getting a personal best. That means there's improvement going on, and I'd love to see those personal bests drop.
Yeah, two powerhouses there, Gavin and Joe.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Yeah, there was that little puff of the chest from Joe there, but I just think he knows the power that he has, and there's more, I think there's more to come from Joe.
It could also be that during training he's cut faster than that and was expecting more out of himself. So it's a, you know, your own worst enemy a lot of the times. But look at these edges here, these beautiful hits from Gavin, just fantastic accuracy on that first side, and that accuracy means quickness.
Yeah.
And he moves to the other side very fast and got through there in a good time.
And speed is key. This is Joe Groom, and he'll have had one eye on the fact that he's coming into this discipline. He was in 11th place, and only the top 8 qualifiers. You mentioned Troy. So, you know, is his time of 33.6 going to be enough to propel him to that next stage?
We will see. National record 18.56. And Martin Price and George Spencer next up on deck.
Troy, you've attested to the fact that this wood today, this racing wood, is in good condition.
Yeah, I mean, I was such curiosity about it. I'll talk about that in a sec here.
Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, George Spencer wasting no time to get into that block, and he's going for the pace as well. Martin Price on that first side. George Spencer shortcut the first side. I think that's what he meant to do as he moved quickly onto the second side. Martin Price on his second side now, about 4 or 5 drivers behind George. And George really motivated to get through this one as he is almost there. He's done it. George Spencer with a 23.62, a personal best. Wow, by 7 seconds or so. Martin Price trying to get in there.
He's got a sticky log.
He does, but he also has a lot of material still left on that first side. So I think Martin also did the same thing, shortcut that first side, but he left a little bit too much for him to get through. And now it's a battle, and you can see the block is split. So that block is taking a lot of the power away from him as each of those drivers hits the block. So 56.02 for Martin. That's an unfortunate one for him.
For Martin there, if he'd wanted to, could he have gone back to the original side and tried again, or once you're there, you're there?
He could have, but it would have been a bigger waste of time. He says once you're on the other side, you might as well just continue through the cut.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
All right, let's take a look back here. George just wasted, like I said, no time getting into that block, and he was using every ounce of his upper body and lower body to work that axe. And you can see here, Martin, he slipped through on that last driver, didn't get any of that material off that he had hoped to, and his drivers from bottom up were a little bit flat, so he wasn't cutting away the material as he had hoped, and he was more just chipping into the wood and bouncing back out. So that's probably the result of a bit of fatigue and, you know, just struggling a bit with the wood on that first side and not leaving himself too much to cut through on the second side. So it's a tough break, but George Spencer, good job by him there.
We have a couple of moments now to talk about the wood itself, Troy. We talked about the fact that it's in great condition, this wood today. Yep. It's ready to be raced at. The athletes are powering through it. You can see that by the nature of the personal bests that are tumbling. This wood, though, it's STIHL as a company takes sustainability into the heart of everything they do at the moment.
They do, in fact, and they spend a lot of time making sure that this wood is sustainably managed, harvested, and used after the fact. So let's take a look at what actually happens once these competitions are done.
We as STIHL Timbersports pride ourselves that all wood is sustainably grown, harvested, and recycled to minimise the overall amount of wood processed. Firstly, this popular wood is grown on certified plantations. Secondly, the white pine for our sawing disciplines is only sourced from certified forest management. After all our STIHL competitions, all the spent wood is collected and recycled right down to the wood chips and sawdust, which, for example, is converted into renewable energy in the form of wood pellets for biomass. We quest to find certified partners. This ensures that all newly planted trees are nurtured and managed, promoting maximum efficiency and sustainability for the future conservation of our valuable forests.
Therefore, as you can see, with good harvesting practices and good management with silviculture, the ground is quickly replaced by new trees, or could even be used for arable for farmers and future rotations.
Okay, so that's the wood, a key component of STIHL Timbersports, as are our athletes. Another key component, Troy, is the equipment, and in the standing block choppers we've seen, the axes are all important. I didn't realise there was a wealth of choice and a wealth of axes that the competitors can use.
It's a massive amount of choices here, and like we have racing wood, we have racing axes, and these axes are shaved and shaped differently so that they'll pop the wood out differently. So you have bananas, half bananas, chisels. I mean, I could go on and on if I knew what I was talking about, but these guys have a ton of choices, and we have our next heat coming up on the standing block chop with Osh Williams and Seamus Ryan.
So Osh there's got two axes ready, as has Seamus.
Yeah, these guys will do that because sometimes we've seen axe heads break or the handles break, so having a backup is a good idea.
Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Nice start by Seamus Ryan there. He goes for 3 down and starts working on the top. Both of these guys, Osh Williams, plenty of power in him as well as he gets onto that first side. I think he's going for a deeper cut on that first side. Seamus Ryan moving onto that second side, left a little bit of material behind, as Osh Williams is about 3 drivers behind Seamus on that second side, but he's gone a bit deeper on that first side. Could that bode well for him? Seamus looking pretty good here as he's getting close to the cut, I believe. Yep. And he's got that one down in 34.22, and Osh Williams is not that far behind in 38.05 personal best for Osh. Nice job. So Osh Williams in 5th place right now, with Seamus just ahead of him in 4th in the standing block chop.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Right, 6 of our competitors out of 12 have now competed. Is it going to be enough for these two boys, Seamus Ryan and Osh Williams? As we say, we get 12 down to 8, so it's heart rates are pumping.
If we look at the list right now, with still to hit Tom Redmond, Derek Lower, John Lewis, you know, Seamus is in a bit of trouble.
It wasn't the cleanest run for both our gentlemen there, was it?
No, and I think I know what Osh was trying to do. He wanted to go a bit deeper on that first side so he didn't have to cut as much on the second side. And it worked well for him. I mean, he did a good job there getting a personal best as we go to our next heat in standing block with Rob Chatley and Derek Lower. Rob Chatley with the national record at 18 and change, so 18.56 for him. He is really a legend of British timber sports, though.
PB today, break his own record. Here we go. Ready to
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Keep a close eye on the pace that Rob tends to hit with. He goes fast and furious at this block, but he also has really good targeting skills with that axe. Derek Lower on the other side, still working on his first side of the block. Rob Chatley already on the second side of his as he gets to the 16-second mark. Dara moving over to the second side of his block, and Rob Chatley really trying to power through that one right now. He wants it off badly. He's not going to have himself a personal best, but he does have a very fast time, putting him in 2nd place in standing block results. Derek Lower looking for those power drivers to get that off, and he does it in 34.41, putting him in 6th place currently in standing results.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Troy, Rob Chatley there, he looked like he was on track to beat his own national record and personal best. He got round the second side of that wood in good time. He was bang on the money, but just that reverse section cost him day.
Yeah, I mean, I think he saw something that we couldn't see from here. Maybe he thought that he could power through it with a couple of big drivers on that second side, and there just ended up being more material there than he thought. And he had to hit it more times than planned. And, you know, it took him longer to get through there.
Nevertheless,
you could see he really hammered that thing off the top.
Did. Nevertheless, he is in 2nd place for the points tally.
I mean, he is a big, powerful man, so, you know, he's got that going for him when it comes to this discipline. So you can see so far, George Spencer, with his 23.41 personal best, has the time to beat thus far in standing block chop. And that bodes well for him in the overall, because he is currently sitting 2nd behind Rob Chatley in the overall standings after this discipline. And there's only 2 more heats to go, heats 5 and 6, with Graham Turner, Tom Redmond, John Lewis, and Glenn Penlington.
Just wondering, Troy, whether you expect any more personal bests to go in this standing block chop for our athletes, Graham, Tom, Johnny and Glenn. Is it Is it beyond the realms of possibility, or the way that these guys are chopping today?
The way they're chopping, anything can happen. It's anybody's guess. And while the stage is under final preparations, let's take one more time a look at our World Championship teaser and what we can expect to see in Milan, Italy in October.
So it'll be eyes on the prize. If you're on the podium or in the higher echelons of finish today, you could be on that plane to Milan if you're a top British pro athlete. Troy, you'll be there.
I'll be there, and we'll be looking forward to seeing the winner here today participate in the World Championships, as well as a team of 5 to 6 athletes that will travel down to represent Great Britain in the team competition. There are 2 types of competitions going on there. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing how we do.
And I look forward to seeing how the rest of our athletes fare in our British Pro Championships today. And we're ready to go with Heat 5 of the standing block chop. Graham Turner from Scotland, and from England, Tom Redmond. What are these final moments of preparation like for our athletes, Troy, as they weigh up the block?
Just making sure that they've got their head wrapped around it. A lot of it is mental preparation at this point.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
So Tom Redmond and Graham Turner, a couple of guys that are pretty evenly matched up in this discipline. Both powerhouses, both big men. It's Graham Turner switching over to the second side, 2 drivers ahead of Tom Redmond. And they know they're not competing against each other specifically in this discipline, but they are pushing each other to get that adrenaline flow and try and get that time fast. And boy, Graham Turner has done it. A 23.62 for him. That puts him just behind George Spencer in second place in the standing results. And Tom Redmond looking to try and get that done, but he's got it in 36.33. So it's a bit slower than what he's used to there.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
All right, so
this will be a little bit of a nervous wait now for Tom Redmond, because he's in 8th place in the standing block shot with 2 top athletes to come, Johnny Lewis and Glenn Penlington. And before we entered into this discipline, Tom was sitting in 7th place, and only 8 progressed. So this is
well, he's now jumped to the bubble. He's in 8th place in the overall standing. So he will be keeping a very close eye on this next heat with John Lewis and Glenn Penlington for sure. Really nice final driver there from Graham. And oh, it's been interesting here. There has been a change in position in the standing results. After officials have checked the time, Graham Turner's time has been adjusted up to 23.33, so he has the current fastest time in standing, pushing George to second place.
What can equate to a change in time, Troy, just for the people out there?
Well, we have several different timing systems here. We've got the 4 people that's sitting at the front with buttons, and they see that block come off, they'll push the red button. And to avoid any human error, they also have the electronic high-speed camera timing system. So the 2 of them compared with each other, and sometimes what we do get is increased or rather decreased times after the competition control center check.
Both these gentlemen with rapid personal bests, and if they can get anywhere near those times, they'll be in fine fettle when it comes to the points. And Johnny needs points to stay in the game.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Now, Johnny Lewis is a big man, and he has a lot of power, but he also has a ton of experience. And you can see here, Glenn Pendleton going for that pace again. He is so quick in the standing block onto that second side, under 10 seconds to get over there. And he is looking fast as he is through it already.
Wow.
Oh my God, a 19.48 personal best for Glenn Pendleton, and John Lewis onto the second side, trying to power his way through this block, rounding up on the 30-second mark. And he's got a bit of a tough block here as he went open on the first space, closed on the second one, and does it in 34.88. So Glenn Pendleton, top of the standing block result, excuse me, that was so fast I'm blubbering over here. Top of the standing block chop results with a bullet.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
So the season's best even, that standing block chop from Glenn. So he beat it by 27 hundredths of a second.
These cuts were so fast, so true. Cutting through the salad.
Yeah, and you can see the focus of Glenn there. Absolutely on point with each of his drivers. Johnny Lewis with so much power, got a couple of sticky ones though. And there's that final couple of drivers from Glenn. And Glenn and his sister Zoe will likely be joining Simon Heidenreich in his Science and Sports podcast in the next weeks or so. So it'll be interesting to see what they have to say as far as timber sports athleticism is concerned in that.
Wow, number of personal bests tumbling in the standing block chop. And here's how the points have been awarded. Full 12 points. Season's best, personal best for Glenn Pendleton. 11 points goes to Graham Turner of a PB. Likewise for George Spencer, he gets 10 points. Rob Chatley, 9 points. Gavin Thompson, we saw a great performance from him. He's personal best as well to boot. 8 points for Gavin. 7 points for Joe Groom. Seamus Ryan, 6 points. Same for Dara Clower. And 4 points goes to Johnny Lewis, 3 to Tom Redmond, 2 for Ross Williams, and a single point to Martin Price. Let's see what comes out in the wash at the end of our third discipline. Here we go.
Well, with 3 disciplines done and dusted, that is round 1 out of the way. And that means we're going to take the top 8 athletes in the overall standings and move them to round 2. So Tom Redmond just in there.
Just by the skin of his teeth, Tom Redmond.
Yeah. The hair of his chinny chin, as it were.
And the puffing of the cheeks we saw from Joe Groom is now justified, because I think Joe, in his heart of hearts, knows he could have made an assault on that top 8 if he didn't get himself caught up in the wood. But that's the way the cookies crumble for our cookie monster, Joe Groom, this year. You know, big mentions as well for Johnny Lewis and the rest of the guys who just fell short, Troy, when it came to the final reckoning after 3 disciplines today.
And now it's getting interesting because we're going to add more points on the board. That means the top guy can get 16 points as opposed to 12 as we head through the next 2 disciplines in this second round. As we mentioned, it's the bottom 4 have been relieved of duty for the day, so they can go and chill and watch the rest of the activities. And it's never nice to see these guys go, but that's just the nature of the beast. When you're competing, you have to deal with those situations. So that said, our next discipline coming up is the single buck, otherwise known as the misery whip. Maybe we could take a quick look at what that looks like in the tool and discipline.
The 2-meter-long cross-cut saw used for the single buck discipline is made especially for competition. A series of consistently patterned 10-centimeter-long teeth are cut with a laser on one side of the saw and then hand-sharpened. Saw teeth are divided into 2 types, cutters and rakers, just like on the old-school saws. The saw weighs about 5 kilos and its base price starts at around €1,500. Single buck. The single buck is a one-man saw about 2 meters long. With this, the athletes have to cut off a complete disc of a 46-centimeter thick wooden block. The perfect interplay between rhythm and strength is the key to success.
Okay, 12 athletes down to 8, and it's the single buck, the misery whip, as you call it, Troy, the 2-meter long saw. This is a beast.
It is a beast. It is one of the most efficient cutting tools in timber sports, but also can be one of the most devious pieces of equipment to use if you are not behaving correctly with it in your hand.
Yeah, and you and I, we weren't behaving correctly. Well, you, I should rephrase, you were behaving more correctly than I was this time last year, because we both chanced our arm and tried our hand at the single buck, and I have to say it was unforgiving. The coaching I got was keep it straight, keep it true, and I was wobbling around all over the place. So this one, you know, the skill levels, the technique, they all come into play.
Absolutely, and technique is really key here. You want to keep that saw moving straight. If you angle it at all, up or down, that saw is going to hook up on those 10-centimeter long cutters or sweeper teeth and stop dead in its tracks. And that is something you don't want to have happen, especially if you're on a push through, because then what happens is the saw tends to bow or whip, which is one of the reasons why Sterling Hart mentioned it to me. He called it the misery whip for that very reason. So this is one of my favorite disciplines, but it's also one of those disciplines where you go, holy moly, you got to be on point with it. But these guys, they all know what they're doing. It's just a matter of who is feeling it on the day.
Yeah, now competitors start, Troy, with a slight cut into the wood. Why is that?
It's a safety issue. It's also to make sure that the guide is set so that they don't have to worry about popping the saw up and down and trying to find the line on their own, maybe having a bad angle. This aligns things for everybody nice and fair, and then we could just start with racing.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Tom Redmond with a beautiful start. He is using the entire length of that saw, and hey, why not? He paid for the whole thing. You might as well use it all. Osh Williams using about the middle 3/4 of that saw. He could be using a little bit more of it, and you can see Tom is going tip to knuckles, and he's got a quick run there with a 17.58. Osh Williams trying to get to the bottom here as quickly as possible. That wood's binding a little bit on that saw there. You can see it really struggling on the bottom cuts there. And, oh, he thought he had it on that push through, but he had to draw back through with 32.55. But a nice run by Tom Redmond and a good cookie on the deck for him. And that is the time to beat at the moment, 17.36 with adjustment.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
And after surviving the first 3 disciplines and getting himself in the mix here, Tom Redmond, he's got to be happy with that time in the single buck. It looked good. It looked like a good,
Absolutely.
solid buck.
He looked fantastic, and you could see he started right away using the full length of that saw, going tip to knuckles, and that's the most efficient way to run that saw, unless you can be fast with your cuts and just run through the middle bow of the saw. But, you know, if you could be fast and long, hey, that's even better.
Yeah. And of all the athletes on stage today, this is Tom Redmond's favourite discipline. So he's the only one that cites the single buck as being his favourite. He's not miserable about this misery whip.
It shows. He's very good. I mean, it's my favorite as well. I like it. You know, it's challenging. It means you need to use your body. You need to use skill. And, yeah, it's just a really fun discipline. All right, next heat.
Heat 2 from the Emerald Isle, Dara Clower and Gavin Thompson. So both these gentlemen looked extremely sharp yesterday in qualification, and they are looking for an assault on the top 3. Can they get a podium finish? Because yesterday, of course, it was the Irish top 3.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great run for those guys. They did a great job, and the difference maker for them was that springboard, and we know that they can do it, and they can do it well, so that may bode well for them. But they need to get into the top 6. Excuse me, no, they're here in the top 8, so the springboard is the next discipline after single buck. So that may give them a nice advantage up against some of the guys that are competing here today.
And nice to see smiles.
Yes, always. What does it say? The Irish eyes are smiling?
We will see at the end of this discipline.
I'm pretty sure we're going to see some Irish faces grimacing during the actual heat, but maybe at the end we'll see what the times are like. Gavin Thompson's personal best, 23:52. But again, the way this wood has been cutting, we may see some good times for both of these guys, Dara and Gavin.
Yeah, because they both rocked up yesterday and were smashing PBs out of the park. So there's no reason, like you say, Troy, with the condition that the wood's in today, that they could go one better.
Anything and everything can and has happened here, so let's see.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, both of these guys getting started with a couple of short cuts. Gavin Thompson opting to try and get into that wood with some long strokes. Dara Cloer doing very much the same thing. And you can see Dara really gets into those deep, down, low pushes. Gavin Thompson, he's a big man as well, so he can use those back legs, that back leg of his, as though he's got more than one back leg, to get through that thing. 25.40 for Gavin and a 27.64 for Dara. So Gavin Thompson right now just behind Tom Redmond in second place in the single buck results.
And arguably Gavin could have gone a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
He just got a little caught about 3/4 of the way through, but let's say now.
He's about 2 seconds slower than his fastest time, and I think maybe there was a little hookup that we didn't see there, or maybe you saw it and I didn't.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
All right. So 2 more heats to go in our single buck. Let's take a look back here what we see with Gavin. Yeah, he's keeping that saw nice and straight. Yeah, you see there, just a little chop. You can see a little chatter coming on the backstroke of his cut. And then when he got into the middle of the cuts, he was keeping the flow nice. And again, there's a little bit of chatter. Dara Cloer looking really smooth through the entire length of the cut, using the entire saw. It was a good run for both of these guys, and you can see, wow, that last little push by Dara was really struggling to get to the bottom of that wood.
Okay, 4 of our athletes have competed in this single buck. We've got 4 to go. The next 2, Graham Turner and George Spencer.
Now, Graham doesn't mark this as one of his favorites, but he is good at it. Look at his time, 16.74. So let's see if he can keep close to that. George, you know that he's been working on this. Oh, and I love the handle on Graham's saw there. That is just sweet.
Yeah. Hot pink, just in case you miss him.
I think that's for his daughter.
So
you could see how easily that saw enters the wood as George set his depth and got himself ready. So just imagine, you get a nice, clean run going, and you can murder through that wood so quickly.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
So George going for those choppy cuts. He's not using the entire length of the saw. Graham is using pretty much the entire length of the saw, but he's using it fast, and he's looking very good as he gets to the bottom of this one. He's not going to have a personal best, but he's going to have a great time. 18.40 puts him in second place. George Spencer with a 21.09 has third place right now, and George is keeping himself in the mix to be on a podium today. He is looking very, very, very good, and Graham is doing much the same.
George looking to rack up those big points into the 10s each time.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
All right, a quick adjustment to an 18.23 for Graham Turner. That puts him in second place just behind Tom Redmond. George Spencer with a 28.4. You can see here, George wasn't using the entire length of the saw, but he was quick with the pace. If you can imagine, if he used the entire length and kept that pace, where he'd be at, right?
I think George's shoulders are as broad as he is tall, and is that the key thing to the shoulders, hips, the lunge?
It's more in the hips.
Yeah.
It's being able to push off that back leg, rotate those hips, and really take the power through your core into the cut. But you have to keep that flow going as well.
Okay, the final heat of the single buck is on the horizon. Heat 4, Rob Chatley and Glenn Penlington. So Rob, a former champ, Glenn, the reigning champ, and he's been champ for the past 3 years. Can he make it 4 in a row?
And both of these guys absolutely adept at the single saw here. You can see their times. How close are they, really? Glenn Penlington still a young buck at 34 years young, and absolutely tearing it up in timber sports.
Rob Chatley, along with STIHL Timbersports, celebrating his 40th birthday in the past year. And he is looking as fresh as ever. Still a lot in the tank from Mr. Chatley, and Glenn Penlington, I think he's got years to go. He has got so much in the locker, this lad, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Glenn Penlington in the Springboard event, which is he's the national record holder in that one, and he is absolutely
great.
Rapid.
But if it's any indication of some of the athletes that we've seen compete this weekend, you know, Terry Hoff is a perfect example, rounding out on 60 and still relevant in the sport. So these guys in their 30s and 40s still have a long way to go. Speaking of a long way to go, look at the length of that saw.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, Rob Chatley and Glenn Penlington getting into it here. Rounding out 10 seconds as they're a good, well, more than halfway through these blocks here. And it's going to be very close between the two of them. Rob Chatley with a 16.88 and Glenn Penlington with an 18.39. Now, he knows he can do better than that. You can see a little look of disappointment on Glenn's face, but he is right there. Rob Chatley atop the leaderboard for single buck, with Glenn Penlington currently sitting in 4th place in the single saw. And that is all she wrote for the single buck discipline.
Congratulations. Both cuts are good.
All right. All right, so here we go. You can see both of these guys absolutely giving it their all on the single buck here. Bit of an angle on the cut for Rob, but it didn't seem to bother him that much. Glenn Penlington doing quite well as well. So single buck results here: Rob Chatley, Tom Redmond, and Glenn Penlington. the top three. And the only guy to pull away a personal best there was actually Rob Chatley with a 16.67 after they made the adjustment to his time. And let's see what that takes us to when, as you say, mixing the salad up a little bit here in the overall rankings. So Glenn Pendleton currently sitting in first place. Let's see what the single buck has done to those rankings. Oh, it looks like our algorithm wasn't working there as we take another beauty look there and have a look at our stage being changed up. Now maybe we get it. So here we go. Points being calculated.
It's all change.
Interesting. Rob Chatley, top spot. Glenn Pendleton in second place. Graham Turner in third. And George Spencer fourth. Tom Redmond rounding out the top five there. So he is in good stead. And still good to go with one more discipline to come our way. And that is the springboard, which is being set up on stage. But before that, we are going to invite one of our women into the studio to talk with Alex.
Yeah, thank you so much, Troy. I'd like to welcome in Libby Arrowsmith, who's our top-ranked female competitor. Libby, great to see you. Welcome along. Talk us through what's been going on over the past year, because this is a sport, particularly in the women's section, that's been developing at a rapid pace.
Yeah, definitely. It's been growing massively over the past couple of years, and there's a lot more women in it now than there was when it first started, obviously. And I think there's about 14 in the country, maybe more. I might be missing a few, but there's a load more coming in and doing great.
Yeah, and you had an amazing championships last time out, this time last year. You're looking in good shape. What have you been doing over the course of the past year to prepare for this year?
I've just been trying to work on my weaker events and trying to get them up to a good standard where I'm happy, and then just focusing on the little details.
Yeah. And what would you say to young girls, women who want to get into the sport? Is it accessible? Is it easy to get involved with STIHL Timbersports?
Yeah, definitely. It's very easy. It's just a form you fill out when it comes out, and yeah, it's great fun, and definitely do it.
And as you look forward to tomorrow, what kind of self-motivational talk are you having with yourself ahead of the big day, Sunday here tomorrow in Malvern?
Just going to focus on the log, no one else, just myself and the woods, and see if it all goes well.
We'll see if it all goes well for you tomorrow. Thank you so much for talking to us, Libby Arrowsmith.
No worries, thank you.
And I should mention, we do have a video of Libby from last year. Let's take a look at that right now as she was ripping it up in the Women's Championship last year.
Welcome to the 2024 STIHL Timbersports British Women's Championship. 10 women, 4 disciplines, fighting for 1 trophy.
Every single lady out there that are chasing me, so I need to keep up with them and, you know, bring it on.
First up, we have the stock saw. What a superb start to the competition. Next discipline coming at you is the standing block chop. Again, another unrelenting block for these women. The wood is proving so tough this year. It's all to play for here in the single buck. Unbelievable power on show today. Everything is riding on this discipline, underhand chop. So much power going into these cuts. What a monumental effort, and congratulations to our women's British champion.
I'm just over the moon having won the British Women's Championship this year. It's just fantastic. The girls are just raising the level every year, so it's been great to compete with such amazing athletes. So yeah, it's been a good competition.
Right, so we have the next of our athlete interviews here in our trailer, and it's the rookie champ from 2025, Jack Morris. Welcome along, Jack. All the best to you. But we're not going to see you tomorrow. We might have seen you today because you're knocking on the door of the pros, and I think you're quite old enough now to be part of the pros, but you've injured yourself. Talk us through what's gone on.
Yeah, unfortunately, at the start of the year, I had a knee injury, and just sort of taking it easy this year, so hopefully be back next year stronger.
And I know you've got a load of pals, you've got family involved in timber sports. Talk us through who you've been supporting and what you've been doing from a watching brief this time around.
Well, there's a few boys out there that I'm good mates with, definitely cheering on Glenn and George, and they're going real well today, so hopefully I'll keep it up.
How's your year been? Obviously, you got injured around Christmas time and you've been out for a while, but how are you keeping yourself in shape and fit over that time, despite not being able to like put much weight on your knee?
I got myself a personal trainer, so just being in the gym as much as I can and keeping the strength work up, so hopefully we'll...
You'll be back soon?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you do come back, what are your expectations? What are you looking to achieve when you come back fighting fit, Jack?
Well, hopefully get through the qualifier and then see what we can do from there.
Great, and what can we look forward to for as far as tomorrow goes? So have you got your eye on any of the rookies, any ones to watch that we should be have a keen eye on?
I think the rookies will be a close one this year. There's a few good guys out there. There's new ones that I haven't seen yet, so that's going to be exciting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to us. Jack Morris, our reigning rookie champ. Sadly won't be with us tomorrow, but I'm sure you'll be out in the crowd cheering everyone on. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a look back at the rookie competition from last year.
Welcome to the 2024 STIHL Timbersports British Rookie Championship. 11 rookies, 4 disciplines, 1 title.
I think with the rookies it's always a lovely and friendly atmosphere backstage, and we're all good mates. But when we're on that stage, it's all just us in the log.
First up, we have the stock saw. These rookies are showing us what they're made of here. What a performance! A huge season's best there. Next discipline coming at you is the standing block chop. These athletes are giving it everything out there. Oh wow, onto the second side already, that was quick! It's all to play for here in the single butt. These guys are really feeling the pressure now. It's all going to be down to the underhand chop. So much young talent on display here. These are the stars of the future for sure. There is our British rookie champion right there on top of the stage.
Oh, it's great to win the 3rd title and have that confidence going into the pros. I think it helped massively, and the rest of the year should be pretty good as well.
Nice look back there at last year's rookie championship, and STIHL Timbersports in this country is in fine fettle, Troy. It's going from strength to strength, not only with our rookies and Jack Morris, our rookie champ there. We heard from Libby Arrowsmith as well, and the women's game is on the up and up. And I know you travel the world with Timbersports. Where do we rank right now, Great Britain, amongst some of the leading nations?
I would say you're definitely up there among the top 5. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the skill level is there. The motivation is there. We see the progression of the athletes through the rookie rankings into the pro rankings. So, you know, and as you've seen from the pros today, these guys are not far off the pace for our international world records and seasons bests from around the world. And George Lloyd is a perfect example of that with the stock saw yesterday, 3rd best in the world right now. So that says a lot right there, you know. You know, it's an ebb and flow with these nations. Sometimes there's up, sometimes they're down, and right now Great Britain is definitely on an upswing.
Yeah, and you are our expert commentator, our experts in timber sports, Troy. You've been around the world, seen many, many competitions. What's the best atmosphere you've seen at a Timber Sports World Championships?
Pick one. They're all great. I mean, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it right now, right? But one of the best ones that we've had in recent years, I believe, was 2019 in Prague. But if you just go to any World Championship, the atmosphere level is just beyond belief, you know. There's a fan base for timber sports that is unbelievable. You can see clubs and groups of the fans set in the audience, and they're screaming, they're loud, they're making noise the whole time. It is unbelievable. But, you know, we have a good example for you coming up with the vibe check from a couple of years ago. Check this out.
It comes down to Mitch Argent and Shane Jordan battling hard on the standing block. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Australia or New Zealand? Oh my God, how close is this? And it's Australia!
The atmosphere last night and the team's relay was unreal.
That is their title of Team World Champion. 2 years in a row.
Oh, definitely. It'd be the noisiest crowd I've competed against.
Shane Jordan's already over there.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of getting goosebumps thinking about it right now.
The crowds here, they were just erupting.
You feel the energy of the crowd.
My goodness, what a great comeback from Belgium with a time of 1.
The crowd was absolutely electric.
And it was so much noise and support.
Ja, doch, das pusht schon rum und mein Fanclub ist auch da.
Very passionate about their country and, yeah, the competitors.
Yeah, it feels super.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
It's pretty awesome to compete in front of a crowd like this.
But he's not giving up. He's looking good.
Like such an adrenaline rush. It's an amazing feeling.
They make a lot of noise, and that's good for our spirit.
Is it going to be the Czech Republic? And the crowd goes bananas.
It's absolutely extrem hier. Man hört's.
All right, last little bits of preparation going on stage here. It is a bit of a longer process to get these tree stands in position because, as you see, it is a lot of material on stage for the springboard, and preparation for that springboard does take a little bit of extra time. Now you can see the athletes up there putting their blocks in place. Before we get going with that, let's take a look at some of the upcoming live streams that will be available for you to enjoy. Wow. So there you see, there's a whole list of them, yeah?
If you've got the Timber Sports bug, then you're not short of content, that's for sure. Timber Sports all over the world. Troy, what would your picks be of that bunch?
Well, I'd be curious to see how the U.S. events go on the 26th and 27th of July, and obviously I'm happy to be going over to the French Pro and the Benelux Pro and the European Trophy, and of course the German, Austria, and Swiss Pro finals, and I would love to go over to the Australian Pro. That's going to be interesting as well to keep an eye on. And then naturally the team and the individual World Championships at the end of October.
Excellent. So plenty going on across the world of STIHL Timber Sports. Troy, like you say, this event takes a little bit of extra time to prepare, and it'll take a little bit of extra time for our athletes to put 2 boards into the side of this tree and then get up to the top and knock the block off.
It does, and we can take a look at the tool and discipline, or rather the discipline here for Springboard to give you an idea of what's going on.
Springboard. Springboard simulates the traditional way of felling trees, climbing up over thick roots. First, notches known as pockets are chopped into the log. 2 springboards are then anchored into these pockets. The athlete then climbs up to chop through a 27-centimeter thick block of wood in the fastest time possible.
All right, we are almost there. Our next discipline, springboard. Very, very finicky discipline, and you have to be a well-rounded athlete to do well here. So again, 4 heats. Heat 1 will be Tom Redmond, Osh Williams. Heat 2, Derek Lohr, Gavin Thompson. Heat 3, Graham Turner, George Spencer. Heat 4, Rob Chatley and Glenn Penlington. Glenn Penlington, by the way, very, very adept in this discipline.
Yeah, this is where Glenn puts himself top of the tree.
Literally.
Pardon the pun. But I'm really excited to see how Glenn goes in this one.
And this could also be a very good opportunity for our 2 Irish athletes who did well in yesterday's qualifier. In fact, it was the 3 Irish athletes that logged times in, so they could do well here to gain momentum in their points towards a podium spot potentially here.
Troy, what are some key things to look out for in this springboard discipline?
Getting those pockets set as quickly as possible and making sure your board is stable so you feel confident enough to be able to step well back on that board and use the power in your lower body to drive that axe into that top block. But again, this is one of those disciplines where you really have to feel and have a lot of experience in order to be at a level where you're not worrying about what's happening once you're up there. You just can go through the motions.
And this event is on a time limit as well.
There is a 2-minute 30 time limit, so if the athlete does go past 2 minutes 30, then there will be a DQ for time limit exceeded. We did see that yesterday, so there is potential for it to happen today. The wood is chopping well, so perhaps they'll get through the blocks faster on the top once they're up there. We hope.
And once our athletes get to the top of the mountain, Troy, is there a trick to getting that top block off cleanly?
It's basically a standing block chop 2 meters off the ground. So if you're comfortable and confident on your board, you can really utilize the spring of the board to your advantage.
Nice. Okay, here we go. Heat 1, ready to get underway. Tom Redmond and Osh Williams.
So you can see both of these guys, pretty big boys, 108 and 104 kilograms, respectively. Being a heavier guy on these springboards, it's not always fun, let's put it that way, because, you know, you have to have, like I said, confident in those boards to make sure that they're stable. And a couple of the guys, including George Spencer, or excuse me, Graham Turner, have built their own springboard and tooth connectors. So, you know, if you do that, you're maybe a step ahead of the game because you feel really good about the stuff that you built yourself and not somebody else's product. Meanwhile, Tom Redmond and Osh Williams coming out onto stage and getting ready for springboard. And you can see Tom Redmond's personal springboard best is 144 and change.
There's a hush descends over Malvern in eager anticipation of both our athletes taking to the springboard.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
So Osh has got himself a 4-5 hit pocket, and he's up on that board, but it's sagging badly as he's going to come back down and reset the pocket. And this is what I was talking about. That first board isn't super critical, but if it sags and comes out immediately, you don't have a chance. And you can see the look on Tom Redmond's face there as he thought he had a pocket set. He took a little more time than Osh did, but now he's got to go back, do some house cleaning, and set it again, and make sure his board is in and solid. And now Osh gets onto his first board, and now both these guys are going to have to concentrate on getting those second pockets set and making sure those second pockets are, let's say, a hair better than their first pockets were. Those second pockets are the critical pockets, and Tom and Osh both choking up on their axes to make sure they get the accuracy as close as possible to what they need it to be in getting those pockets set. But this is one of the factors of the springboard, is those pockets. They have to be quick and they have to be good. And this is what a lot of athletes will do. They'll just train building pockets. They'll get in there, they'll do pockets all day long, put boards in, stand on them, see how they feel, do pockets, put boards in them, stand on them, see how they feel. They won't even bother cutting at the top, because when you know you've got a good board, like Tom Redmond does right now, he's got his foot almost all the way at the back of that thing so he can use the spring of the board and the push off of that back leg, and you can see his accuracy is real nice on the top there. So he's chipping away those big pieces off of that block because of his accuracy and because he feels good on that top board. Now, Osha's got a bit of sag on his, but it's not too bad. The problem is with that sag, he doesn't feel the confidence, and you can see how much farther forward he is on his board, and that means he has to choke up on the axe handle, and that takes away a lot of the power. Bit of a dark spot in there for Tom, but he is deep through on that first side. Maybe one or two more here before he switches to that awkward angle. Let's see.
Got around 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, they're getting close to the edit here, and hopefully Tom can get through there and clock a time and not be DQ'd, because a DQ does in fact mean no points will be awarded. He's close, but
just
might
looks
be
a
really.
bridge
Oh,
to,
he's got
he's
it.
done it.
2:27.42, and unfortunately for Osh, that is a DQ for time exceeded. Oh man.
That seemingly has taken a lot out of both athletes, but that winning smile from Tom, acknowledgement from Osh.
I loved his reaction, Tom's reaction when he stepped on the board. It came straight out to the floor, and he's like, "Huh?"
So on stand 3, we have a disqualification for exceeding the time limit. However, this cut is good.
All right, so just to illustrate the difficulty of this discipline, two fantastic athletes, two highly skilled athletes, both struggled a little bit in this discipline. And this is really, it's my maker or breaker, quite honestly. So you can see here, Osh was quick with the pocket, but his board just didn't have the hold, and you can see it sagged way, way, way beyond the safety level. Now watch what happens with Tom. He took a bit longer setting his board, but he came right out. Now try and imagine that happening at 2 meters up with an axe in your hand. Absolutely not the best situation. So these guys really take a lot of time to concentrate on making sure those pockets are good and proper and they feel good on the boards. And when we did see Tom up on his top board, it looked very good, it was solid, and he felt good about it and stepped right back to the edge of the board and utilized that entire board length to his advantage. Now, if he had gotten up there 15, 20 seconds earlier, the time would have been a massive difference. But, you know, you could see how accurate his cuts were on top, even with that shaky board. He was really clean on his cuts. He had big chips coming off. He wasn't recutting old wood. He was cutting new wood every time and getting through there. And these last couple of drivers for Tom just made it in 1:27 and change. There we go.
Heat 2 will see Dara Cloher and Gavin Thompson take on the Springboard.
If you want to see something really crazy, the Australians do some competitions with 3 boards.
Just for fun?
Just for kits and shiggles. So we saw some good times from both of these guys, in particular Derek Cloher yesterday. Really had a nice time in the Springboard. So let's see if he can repeat that action here today. I don't think Gavin's My Little Pony collection is at risk here if he can have a good time as well.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
So Gavin Thompson, Dara Cloer. First pocket sets. Dara's got his more or less in position, and he's up on the board. Looks pretty good. Gavin's got his board set. He's taken purchase, and it looks good as well as he gets working on his second pocket. Sticky, sticky, sticky axe there for Dara Cloer. Took him a little bit to get it out. Gavin sagging a little bit, but that doesn't matter. It's this second board that's going to be critical. He needs to get that in place and get some nice angle on it so that he can really utilize that power. Now, he was slower getting on the first board, but he was quicker getting on the second board, and now he's got his foot way at the back, and he can utilize that spring and the power from his hips, but he got a sticky axe in there as he tries to chip out some of that material off that top block. Dara Cloer is up there as well. Both of them past the 1 minute mark, but it's looking good for our two Irish competitors. Oh yeah, Gavin really going for it here. He's got some nice alignment, nice aim. Dara Cloer has got a good board as well. He's getting through thick on that first side. I think Gavin might be the first one to switch to that awkward angle as he's getting deeper on that first side. Looking very good.
He's got a minute to play with Troy.
Yeah, that he does. So we might have the fastest times of the day so far here if both of these guys can get through fairly quickly. Gavin working on that second side, getting some material out of the way to clear his way for those final drivers. Got a real sticky one right there, though, as he did a good job on that first side, and now he is through in 1:53.36, and he's got himself a personal best from yesterday's as well. So improvement from day to day. And Dara Cloer, I don't think we're going to see a personal best there, but he is through in a 2:05.05, so that's very good as well. And Gavin Thompson takes the lead in Springboard.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
All right, so good, no DQs here. That's nice to see for Dara Cloer and Gavin Thompson. Gavin Thompson with the time to beat today so far, 1:53.08. As we look back here during the setup of the first boards. And again, I reiterate how important it is, Alex, to have these pockets set quickly and accurately so that you can get up on those boards and just get to work. Gavin looking real good there as he gets that second board in position. Quick check to make sure it's got purchase. Tooth bites, and he gets up there and goes to work. Dara Cloer doing very same. So if you're afraid of heights, this is not the sport for you, huh?
Especially with an axe in your hand.
I can hear a few mothers in the audience. You won't be doing that, not without some supervision from your father.
With that in mind, you can get on the STIHL website and check out your local training camps.
Yes.
So if you are of the mind that you want to give it a try, we're always welcome to newbies who want to give our wonderful sport a try. Just visit the STIHL website and find your local training camp. Yeah, so Troy, we saw our top qualifier from yesterday, Dara, knock the top off the springboard, but Gavin himself, he said yesterday, he wasn't necessarily the top of the tree yesterday, but he said he had big things to come today, and he's putting that into practice.
Absolutely. I mean, he obviously saved a little bit for today. Dara Cloer was faster yesterday than he was today, but both of these guys have times in the book, so that puts him in 1 and 2 position in Springboard at the moment. what's going to entail here is where these guys are sitting in the top 6 when this discipline is done, because after this discipline, we eliminate 2 more athletes from our list of 8 that are participating here.
Troy, we're celebrating our 40th year of STIHL Timbersports, and I'm not expecting you to cast your mind back all the way to 40 years. However, where do you think the biggest improvements in the sport have been made over the course of that time?
Oh, there's been so many things we can talk about. The wood management and preparation, that's a huge thing, because over the years, you know, the competition wood has become very, very, very fair. Obviously, the technology that's going into the different pieces of equipment that they're using, the single buck and the axes. But I think the biggest factor is the fitness level of the athletes. They're really taking it to heart, and you're seeing a new generation coming in that are more fit than ever before, and they're really concentrating on making sure that they have the strength, the flexibility, and the endurance, above all, for a lot of these different disciplines to be able to really hammer their way through and not be feeling fatigued too early in a heat, say, standing block chop.
Is it fair to say a lot of the athletes are now tend to be like sporting all-rounders? They're not just concentrating on chopping and sawing?
Very much so. We're seeing a lot of these athletes go into multi-sport disciplines so that they can keep cycling, for instance, to keep their fitness level up, to keep their breath up. A lot of them are doing strength training with specific movements in those strength training activities to make sure that the key muscles for chopping or sawing are kept in the thought process as well. And also being able to know that when you're under stress and under duress, that you're not going to lose your focus with the blood getting burnt up with the lactic acid. So there's, I think fitness is the biggest factor in the last, let's say, 15, 20 years.
Okay. Now, we know for our athletes today that the main prize is to become the Great British Champion of 2025. Next level will be to go to Milan in the autumn, and they'll be up against a host of other international timber sports teams. We're going to take a little look now at the New Zealand team and a behind-the-scenes video that they put together.
I think we've just had a great culture over the years. We've got some really good individuals, and together we've always got on really, really well.
You know, real legends of the sport, you know, absolute pioneers of STIHL Timbersports.
Accelerator, brake, come on.
Turn the cameras off, this is embarrassing.
The team always being super close.
They're like a family.
But yeah, they get along really well and yeah, have fun doing it.
Bobby, where are you?
Australia would be our biggest rival.
2 teams that know each other very well.
To win, you got to put the hard work in at home, and that's what motivates me the most, to want to win, yeah.
On competition day, it's all about focus, getting the job done.
Come on, Shane! Come on, mate! Your corner and go! Come on, mate! Hard! Hard, Shane! Come on, mate!
Kyle Lemon is back in the team. He's our stock sawyer. Jack Jordan, who's our underhand cutter. Bobby Dowling is our single sawyer.
Freeze, mate, freeze!
Shane Jordan as our standing block cutter.
Sorry, mate. Chin up, chin up, chin up.
Competing with the Jordan brothers. We don't need to say much about them. Kyle Lemon, with a chainsaw in his hand, he's a real legend of the sport.
You're in now, no, you're in!
It's a real privilege to be up on that stage with those 3 men.
Good cut, good cut. Well done. Fuck, that was an awkward handshake.
The KOA-20 is a battery-powered air compressor from STIHL, ideal for a wide range of jobs, making inflation and deflation quick, easy and convenient for you, whether at home or on the go. Part of the AS system of tools, the KOA-20 is powered by an interchangeable 10.8 volt battery that can also be used with all other tools in the AS system range, such as the ASA-20 secateurs, GTA-26 garden pruner or SEA-20 hand vacuum. The KOA-20 is a 2-in-1 unit, which saves time and effort when inflating and deflating items. It's easy to use and can be used to inflate anything from tyres for your vehicle, ride-on mower or bicycle, to airbeds, footballs and pool accessories. You can also use it to deflate items like the pool inflatables quickly too. The KOA-20 comes with various attachments and nozzles which are conveniently stored on the tool. Plus it comes fitted with a high-quality brass nozzle on the hose for fast and easy connections. The compressor has an ergonomic design with an integrated LED light at the front of the tool for working in low light situations. The tool also has a soft grip handle and rubber feet to keep it stationary whilst it's working. The KOA 20 has a display which is simple to operate and control. By pressing the mode button, you can easily switch between either high pressure or volume function, depending on what you're inflating. With the plus and minus buttons, you can set the selected target pressure to your desired level, and by pressing the unit button, you can display the pressure in bar, PSI or kPa units. You can also activate the LED light by pressing this button. Please note that the KOA 20 has not been designed for use with compressed air tools or to inflate paddle boards. The KOA 20 is available as both a tool only or as a set, which comes with an AS2 battery and AL1 charger. On a fully charged AS2 battery, the KOA 20 has a working time of 15 minutes. Find out more at stihl.co.uk or your nearest STIHL approved dealer.
Okay, Troy, we're ready with Heat 3 of the Springboard. It is Graham Turner and George Spencer taking the stage, and they are knocking on the door of a podium finish, these boys.
So if George Spencer can get himself a time under 2:30 today, he'll have a personal best locked in place, and Graham Turner, his current record 2:24, he'll definitely be aiming to improve that. And again, it is all about getting those pockets set quickly, accurately, and stabilizing your boards, getting up on them so that you can go to work on that top block. I talked with George briefly, and he said, yeah, he's just been cutting pockets. Cutting pockets, cutting pockets, cutting pockets.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
So that 5-6 hit pocket for George Spencer, and he is up on his first board. A little house cleaning for Graham Turner as he sets his first board in place. Is it going to feel good for him? As he gets up there, a little bit of a sag, but he doesn't feel it. George looking good though as he's getting that second pocket produced as quickly as possible. Feels good about that. Gets that second board up and places it. And he is up on board. Now he could start working on that top. Graham, meanwhile, has got that board in place, and he needs to get working now very hard and fast on that second pocket and get that board in place. If he's got a good second board, he's got the power to do a good job on that top. Meanwhile, George has got himself a really nice board there as he's got himself into that first side very, very well. Alex, he's looking good on top there.
He's got time to play with as well, Troy. Time is on his side right now, but it does ebb away.
Yeah, he is well and truly deep on that first side. Graham found his pocket now at, again, cleaning a bit. Make sure he's got that board in place. George should be switching to that awkward angle fairly soon now.
That's looking a saggy
Graham
one for
has got himself a troublesome board there. He's going to go back down and clean that up. And something's happened here with George's axe. He's got to change axe. I heard something go clink up there. So he's going to have to get back. I don't know what happened there. We'll have to ask him about that later on. And it almost sounded like something broke off of his axe and hit the deck. So he is on that second side. He's got a bit of time now. Yeah, he's got a bit of time. But that is a tough break for George here because he was doing so well on that first side. Almost there. Oh yeah, I see what happened. The security block at the top of his axe came out, so he can't continue to hit with it like that.
15 seconds.
He's got it. There it goes. So 2:18.38 for George Spencer. That's a personal best for him. He'll take that one. And I imagine it would have been under 2 minutes had his axe security block not come out. And unfortunately for Graham Turner, that is going to be a DQ. Trouble with the pockets was the culprit there. And it's very good that George saw that piece come out, because if that axe head flies off, man, that is a very, very dangerous weapon flying through the air. It's like a killer frisbee.
I mean, George is shaking his head there, but he's posted a personal best, and he knows the next time he's up there, he can go even quicker. But to recover as well and put those thoughts to the back of your mind and crack on.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the clink go, and I saw him jumping down. I wasn't sure at first what's happened, but our fantastic camera crew on stage found the piece of metal on the ground there. You could see where it came from. So once that's out, that axe head has a risk of falling out and coming away. So big discussions about that here, and I really hope that doesn't result in a DQ for him. It shouldn't.
And it's a side piece, Troy. It's a side piece on the frame of the axe.
It's the little metal wedge that goes in between the two pieces of wood of the handle to secure the axe in place. And now there is, in fact, a flag on the place. So,
so we're going
might
to make
have a problem
a video review,
well.
just as a rule check about the pinning and wedging for safety factors on the axe. So we're just checking that in the competition control centre.
So this is where Jules Janssen in the truck will be checking away on the replays. What are these guys looking for now?
They'll scan through the rule book to make sure that they haven't had a safety infraction there, but I can't see that it would be an issue because George stopped hitting immediately, came down, changed axes. But we'll see. I mean, the ultimate result comes from Competition Control Center and the rule book, and yeah, the tension rises as George is looking a little bit nervous now about what potentially could be a very good time for him sitting in third place in Springboard.
So it's out of George's hands for the time being.
So we have a disqualification for exceeding the time limit. We also have a disqualification for the axe not being set up correctly with the wedge correctly pinned for security.
That is a bummer for George and for Graham both. Exceeding the time limit, okay, but that minor infraction for the wedge not being pinned correctly in the axe head, that is a real bummer. Let's keep a look at this again.
How do you learn from that as an athlete, Troy?
You overpin everything next time.
Is that a basic thing?
That's the first time I actually ever seen where that's happened, where the wedge has come out of the top of the axe head. So I don't know.
In all the years you've been across timber sports as well. And Graham, the confidence wasn't there in the boards today.
Yeah,
Troy. George worked so hard on the pockets, and it was a separate issue that's cost him day.
Yeah, he did a really good job. His first pocket was, I think, 5 or 6 hits, perhaps. That second pocket took him a little bit more time, but it was a big problem as that wedge came out. I guess what happened is the pin came out during one of the impacts, and then because the pin wasn't there to secure the wedge anymore, the wedge itself came out of the head of the axe and went down onto the floor. But good that George noticed that in enough time to be able to get his other axe and get up there and continue cutting. Unfortunately, it was a little too late in that case, and that really nice time of George just won't be there for him. All right, so we have one more heat to go, and that's this heat between Rob Chatley and Glenn Pendleton.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this one all day. Rob Chatley, former British champ, and our reigning champ, Glenn Pendleton, his preferred event, the Springboard. And look at that national record.
He holds the national record, but I have seen him do it quicker during some of our road shows in the past. So we'll be looking for him to aim for a fast time today.
Always focused, these two. Don't want any more DQs, Troy, that's for sure.
No, we do not. And at this point, it looks like George Spencer and Graham Turner will both make it to the Hotsaw round, being in the top 6, because Rob Chatley and Glenn Pendleton are in the top 2 positions. So really, this is about who is going to have enough points to take over the top spot or maintain the top spot. And we'll see how this goes down in this final springboard heat. Check your axe heads, guys.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Four-hit pocket for Glenn Pendleton. He is up on that first board, and it looks really good. Four-hit pocket for that second board. Glenn looking fantastic here as he sets that second board. Is he going to feel confident on that one? He's obviously been training this very well. He's got nice a deep angle. That thing takes purchase. Even if it sags a little bit, he'll have a flat board, and that'll be perfect for him as he gets started on that top block. Rob Chatley setting his second board in place now. You can hear the audience in the background cheering the guys on. Rob is going to reassess the situation with his pocket. Glenn Pendleton, meanwhile, is rounding up on the 50-second mark here as he is deep into that first side. Past the minute mark now as Rob gets his board in place. Quick check. And Glenn sags a little bit and he moves to the other side. Ambidextrously grabs that axe with the other hand grip and moves to work that second side of his upper block. Rob Chatley now has a little over a minute to get through that top block, but he should be able to do it. Glenn Pendleton's done it in 1:22.86, so that's the fastest time of the day today. Rob Chatley now just needs to finish this up within a minute now, and he should be able to manage that. He's got a good board, and he's got the power to do it. He's just got to keep the flow going on those hits now. He's looking good. We'll switch to the other side now, rounding out towards the 2-minute mark. Yes, there he's got it, 1:59.87. So under 2 minutes for Rob Chatley, and that would be the third fastest time of the day. And Glenn Pendleton will take the full points in this discipline as we move towards our elimination of 2 athletes here.
So congratulations, both cuts are good.
All right, so Glenn Pendleton with a 1:22.51 and Rob Chatley with a 1:59.82. And we'll take a look back at the slow-mos here, and maybe we get a better view of what happened with Rob on that second board. Meanwhile, Glenn Pendleton, 2 4-hit pockets, just fantastic.
Yeah.
And you can see he's in a good way with this discipline.
We've been watching a class act here in Glenn, particularly on the springboard, and he's cool and calm and controlled in everything he did up there. There was a slight sag on that second board, but he coped with that admirably.
Well, he had enough of an angle when he first put the tooth in place. As it sagged, it took even better purchase, which means he would have been able to really, feeling the confidence of that board, get out on towards the back of it. He did choke up on the axe and he moved forward on the board, so obviously he wasn't 100% sure of it, but he looked great up there, and 2 4-hit pockets, that is just incredible. So to hear Rob struggling to get that board in place in that second position, and obviously it just didn't feel right to him as he took it out, reassessed that position, went back and cut a little bit more, and here we see the final drivers from Glenn, and you can see the material just starting to disappear from underneath that axe head as he comes through with that final cut. A really nice driver and a good time of 1:22.51 for Glenn Pendleton. Again, one of the most difficult disciplines to become good at. And here was the pressure on for Rob as, you know, heading towards that 2-minute mark and definitely wanting to be in within the 2:30. He did it, in fact, in under 2 minutes, so it was a good job. So let's take a look now at the springboard results. So Glenn Pendleton moves back into top position with a full 16 points here in the springboard. And Gavin Thompson in second place, and then Rob Chatley sitting in third place with 3 times under a minute. Then we have Derek Lower and Tom Redmond with both times over the 2-minute mark at 2:04 and 2:27 respectively. Unfortunately for George Spencer, it was a safety DQ there, and for Osh Williams and Graham Turner, the time limit was exceeded, so 3 DQs at the bottom of the list and no points awarded. Let's take a look at the overall standings then, and how that's going to affect us as we move towards our final discipline and the Hotsaw.
Yeah, and we going into that last springboard discipline we've just seen, Rob Chatley had a 4-point lead over Glenn Pendleton. That has been shaved away. And these two competitors now, they are neck and neck. You couldn't have written this at the start of the day, but 60 points apiece for Glenn Pendleton and Rob Chatley. Is there an outside chance for Gavin in third place, should things go his way, or is it just a bridge too far in terms of the points?
It's a bridge too far. I mean, if Gavin Thompson wins the heat with a full pull of points and Rob Chatley and Glenn Pendleton get DQ'd for whatever reason, he still won't have enough points to take over the top spot here. So really, this is a battle of position 1 or position 2, and it comes down to the Hotsaw. And I mean, when you're tied at 60 points moving to the Hotsaw, it's really, the pressure is on for both of these guys, for Rob and Glenn. So now it's going to be about who has the fastest Hotsaw with no mistakes and 3 cookies on the deck.
Yeah, the maker or the breaker.
And you can see the guys in the back there getting the saws, making the final adjustments on them and getting them warmed up. You might even be able to hear in the background a little bit the noise that these saws make when they do a motor warm up. And right here you can see the harvester bar being adjusted so the chain tension is a little bit more. You want to have that chain fairly taut because you don't want to have the thing slopping around with it traveling at 250 kilometers an hour.
Yeah. Everybody here in Malvern, Worcestershire, Great Britain is getting tooled up with ear defenders out the front, Troy, because this is going to get loud and noisy from these custom rapid-powered STIHL chainsaws.
Shall we take a look then at the tool and discipline for the Hotsaw?
These custom handmade race-tuned machines are built for maximum power and precision and to cut the wood as fast as possible in a competition. They are built with a 60 to 80 horsepower single-cylinder 2-stroke engine, often taken from a snowmobile or high-powered motorbike. The Hotsaw can weigh up to 30 kilograms and its chain rotates at over 250 kilometers an hour. The cost of a competition Hotsaw used in STIHL Timbersports is upward of €6,000. Hotsaw. For the Hotsaw, power saws are called into action and the athletes have a space of 15 centimeters to cut 3 complete discs off a 46 centimeter thick wooden block. Jumping the start or cutting over the line will result in a disqualification.
Well, there you see Graham Turner warming up his saw, and those things are very, very, very loud as he's got that motor hot and bothered as he'll set himself up and wrap that chain, be ready for his heat number 2. Tom Redmond and George Spencer will be battling against each other in heat number 1, and Rob Chatley and Glenn Pendleton in heat number 3, and that will be the ultimate test here between these two guys, each having 60 points as we go into this last discipline, the Hotsaw.
Yes, it could not be any more finely poised between Rob Chatley and Glenn Pendleton in this final heat. Heat 3 of the Hotsaw. But prior to that, we have Tom Redmond, George Spencer in Heat 1, and Graham Turner and Gavin Thompson. All these athletes so far today, Troy, have given an amazing account of themselves.
They have, in fact, done that. And I mean, it just goes to your question that you asked me a little bit earlier about where Great Britain timber sports stands in the world. It stands well up in the world rankings for sure.
Okay, I remember you saying to me yesterday, this event, the Hotsaw, and I quote, Troy, is like handling an angry dog that's trying to eat a steak. Do you stand by those words?
I stand by those words, yeah. You know, try and imagine you've got a Malinois or a big German Shepherd, and you've got him by the tail at the base of his butt, and you're holding onto his collar, and there's a steak underneath him, and he's sitting in the air. I mean, that's basically what you're dealing with. You know, you've got a 35-pound or a 35-kilo piece of equipment here that has all the internals moving at pace with the chain going. Then you attach it to the block to try and cut your 3 cookies. It is a dramatic situation, and you have to be in control at all times.
As long as you're not trying to have a selfie with that dog, because then Joe Groom, the cookie monster, would be unhappy. Because that's... Okay, so this discipline, the final discipline in our 2025 Great British Pro Championships, is going to define who will be our champion. Will it be Glenn Penlington for the 4th year in a row? Or Rob Chatley, who also has the same amount of points as Glenn, going into this last discipline? Can he prevail?
Tough call. Both of them are fantastic athletes. Both of them seemingly primed to take the top spot. It also comes down to the European rankings as well, because based on times throughout the season, those rankings will determine who goes to the World Championship. So Glenn Penlington does have the advantage here, but Rob Chatley, if he has a very, very good Hotsaw time, could well take it from him.
And just detail for us, Troy, just how huge this chainsaw is. I mean, we saw the stock saws earlier. They're the little chihuahuas in comparison.
In comparison, they really, really are. I mean, you know, a 35-kilo piece of equipment, it's not that heavy to lift. What the factor is here is the balance of it and controlling it. And then when it's moving and it's active and the chain is spinning, you have centrifugal forces, you have the movement of the piston inside the saw itself. Then you have to control it inside that 15-centimeter mark on the block to cut from this 46-centimeter block, these 3 cookies. If you don't aim that thing correctly, you're going to cut out, you're going to cut a line, you're just going to have problems. And anything can happen. And the other thing is, when you pull that string to start the saw, it might just not start.
Yeah, and they've got to do all that, think about all that within 10 seconds. So you see personal best there for Tom Redmond, 10.44. He takes the stage in Heat 1 alongside George Spencer. So this is rapid fire.
Yep, and 10.44 is a very respectable time as well. Tom, I think you've got stand 1, my friend.
The British record in this discipline, for context, is a time of 7.47 seconds set by Elgin Pugh. So that just shows you how quickly this event.
And Elgin, that record has stood for quite a few years now.
In 2019, that was set. Watch your ears,
okay,
folks.
Gentlemen, warm up your saws.
So 2 different motors, the Wankel and the Rotax. The Wankel is the motor that you'll see George using with that yellow bar on the front that has that deep throaty growl. And the Rotax is the one that Tom is going to be
30
using.
seconds.
It's a little bit more tweedy. Meep, meep.
Looks like there's a lot going on with that piece of equipment.
There is. It is a highly tuned machine. You can see George doing a lot of relaxing movements, relaxing exercises. Here we go.
Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
George Spencer with a national record 7-3-2.
Yes, George.
Yes. Who's been working on his Hotsaw? Holy smokes, folks. Tom Redmond's is under review. Unfortunately, I think he might have cut the line. We'll see. Oh, do we have an incomplete cookie? Is that the case here? Look at this puzzle piecing together by Bard Janssen. Let's see. Hopefully he's good. Very close at the top there.
Now, if George's run there gets signed off, I know how hard he's going to celebrate, because he set a national record last year and the celebrations carried on way into the evening. So we wait the final verdict in a matter of moments. Still Tom Redmond's cuts under review. Big old cookie there, Troy.
Yes. That is a fat cookie. Here we go.
Fingers are
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Yes.
All right. Tom had to go back and cut an extra cookie to be safe that he had complete cookies there. So his time was a little bit slower than he would have liked. And this run from George, though, my goodness, how good is that?
Yeah,
he hovered ever so slightly, but look how thin that is. And the transition, fantastic. Another thin one, and then he's got room to spare. That's 3 thin-to-win cookies on the deck for George.
Amazing.
And a national record at 7.24. And Tom took a little bit extra time to make sure that he cut through there, because that first cookie was just a monster.
Yeah, huge congratulations to George Spencer in setting the new Great British record in the Hotsaw with a time of 7.24. Incredible effort.
Yeah, fantastic run. That's going to be hard to beat today with the remaining 4 guys coming up. That is a very, very quick time.
But the way these athletes are performing today, Troy, it's not outside the realms of possibility. And next up in Heat 2 is Graham Turner and Gavin Thompson.
Now, Graham's got a particularly sexy saw. There's a lot of carbon fiber on this thing, making it a little bit lighter, you know, because Graham is such a weak character, can't lift much off that. There you go.
Yeah.
No, but it is a very, very angry-looking saw, let's say. That's the best way I can put it, and we'll get a picture of it when it comes up on stage. And there you see, look at that beast.
The saw or Graham?
Yeah, both. And he's got some pink tape around that handle, and again, pink on the handles of one of his pieces of equipment, so I think I know who's had some influence there.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saws.
So Graham obviously feeling real good about that saw. One pull, one gas, and off it goes. And he's going to rewrap that cord and be ready to go for competition here.
"30 seconds.
Composure now is key.
Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Whoa! 7.65 for Graham Turner, a personal best, and a 10.60 for Gavin Thompson, also a personal best. Wow, nice cuts. Uh-oh, we got a broken cookie on the deck, though. Who belongs to that? Graham. Oh, that would be a bummer.
Yeah. Oh, yellow flag's been thrown in.
So we have a disqualification for an incomplete cookie. However, this cut is good.
Oh, that is disappointing for Graham Turner. He was looking so good. He had a really fast cut, and Gavin Thompson takes this one away with a 10.51 personal best, the second fastest time of the day behind George Spencer. Let's take a look back here at this cut. Really nice entry into the wood. No delay at all. Just got going right away. Transition, a little bit of a hang and swing. There is the cutout. That incomplete cookie, and that third cookie didn't leave him any room to make a third or a fourth cut safety-wise. Too bad.
I mean, that just shows the fine margins there, Troy. If Graham could have completed that cookie, and if it had been 2 minutes earlier, he'd have been a British national record holder if he'd have got on there before George. So it's just a real disappointment for Graham after such a good showing.
7.62 would have been a nice time for him to slip just in behind George Spencer, and that would have been meant good things for him in the overall standings. But that is the way the cookie crumbles, literally, in this case.
And it's all eyes on this final heat, heat 3 now, of the Hotsaw, the maker or the breaker for the Great British Championships. It's on the line here right now, people. Robert Chatley, former British champion, knocking at the door. He's at the gates of Glenn Penlington, our 3-time in a row Great British champ. Can he do the 4 in a row?
I mean, it is a tough one. You know, Glenn and Rob both have 60 points each. They're tied in points here. So really, it's just about who is slightly faster than the other. Obviously, these guys are not going to give an inch at all. Rob Chatley's personal best in 8.52. Glenn Penlington's in 8.01. Tail of the tape goes to Glenn, but as you've seen, any number of things can happen here with these extremely heavy, extremely dangerous, and powerful saws in hand. So last checks for these guys, and then the warm-ups. Here we go.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saws.
Uh-oh. This is not looking good for Glenn at the moment. He's got to get that motor started.
"30 seconds.
It's not starting.
Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh! Oh my God. Oh my God. The stress. I'm dying over here. Glenn Pendleton couldn't get his saw started the entire time during the warm-up phase, and he just got it to run for the competition. Does he have 3 cookies on the deck, though? That is the question, and we'll see shortly if he is safe. Meanwhile, Rob Chatley cut himself a 10.52. It's under review on Glenn Pendleton's side, though. Oh, man, the tension mounts here as we look closely at whether or not we have cookies that are complete for Glenn.
Troy, I'm not sure if we've seen tension like this on the final day.
I've just gotten some more gray hairs. It's insane. So we're looking into the competition control center with STIHL and his crew taking a very, very close slow motion look at that. And our onstage judges are trying to piece the puzzle together. Let's see what happens here.
Heart rate monitors are going crazy right now.
Yeah, they're overheating.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a video investigation about a possible cutout.
So this is one of the reasons, ladies and gentlemen, that we have all of these high-speed cameras placed around the stage in order to be able to have a situation like this seen from multiple different angles so that we can get the fairest possible call at the end. Now, nobody wants to see Glenn disqualified in this case, and this is one of those situations where it was stress pure from the very get-go, Glenn not being able to start his saw in the warm-up, and then finally got it going during the competition. And yeah, it is not a fun situation here to be waiting on the fate of your future, let's say, in the hands of somebody else. So we wait.
I announce. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, both cuts are good.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, wow, wow.
What a turn of events there, Alex. Unbelievable. Glenn can't even believe it. Ay, 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 ay.
I mean, what a tense and nervous way, and Glenn has come out on top, but Rob Chatley, so magnanimous there. Great sport. I'm not sure I can take any more of it, though. Troy, what were you seeing there on the replays?
Well, besides the stress of the moment before and Glenn not being able to get that saw started, I was excited to see that saw go, and I missed the fact that Rob Chatley swung and missed on his second cookie or his third cookie, so he had to go and reset, which killed a bit of his time. And I'll tell you what, that was a stressful situation. George Spencer still with the fastest time in Hotsaw. Glenn with the second fastest at 8.73. Rob Chatley rounding in there at fourth with a 10.52. And Gavin Thompson just a hair faster at 10.51. And there we see the official Hotsaw results. And then we'll take a look at the overall results, but that will mean that Glenn Pendlington maintains his position as your Great British Champion, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Alex, I'm going to leave it up to you to bring us home the rest of the way, my friend. Glenn Pendlington and Rob Chatley and George Spencer are your podium finishers today. Fantastic, and well done, everybody.
All right, yeah, thank you so much, Troy. Thank you to everyone here that's joined us in Malvern for this fantastic culmination in our Great British Championships. We hope you've had fun. We hope your heart rate has dropped a little bit now after that high-octane finish here at the 2025 Men's Pro Championships in Malvern. We are going to bring our athletes out now in reverse order. I think they're ready to get onto the stage. So please put your hands together. 12th place today from Great Britain, Martin Price. In 11th place today, from the Republic of Ireland, Seamus Ryan. A 10th place finish goes to a STIHL Timbersports British legend, Johnny Lewis. Ninth place today, 2025, the Cookie Monster himself, Joe Groom. 8th place, from Wales, Osh Williams. 7th place, from Ireland, Dara Cloher. 6th place, from Scotland, Graham Turner. 5th place at these British Championships, Tom Redmond. 4th place, tremendous achievement from Ireland, Gavin Thompson. 3rd place, and onto the podium with a national record in the Hotsaw. You just saw it from George Spencer. Second place, our runner-up. It was so close to call people. Here he comes. Give it up for the incredible Robert Chatley. And incidentally, big thank you to Vicky Tween, our Marketing Communications Manager, and Simon Hewitt, the Head of Marketing at STIHL GB, for presenting our athletes with their awards. And finally, the British champion of 2025. 4 times in a row, he sits astride the top of this podium. Our Great British Champion, Glenn Pendlington. Once again, our top British athletes. Give it up for them. George Spencer, Rob Chatley, and the reigning champion, Glenn Pendlington. Right. Glenn just about got that Hotsaw going. He's got the champagne going now anyway. Right, Glenn. Glenn, if I can borrow you a second, Chief. Let's have a word with our champion. Can we have a word with you, Glenn? Come on, let's come up here now. You're nice and dry, covered in champagne. Listen, this is the 4th time I've spoke to you in 4 years in this #1 position. Congratulations, sir. But that finish, how's your heart rate? Talk us through it.
Oh, I think mine was all right. Probably put me mum through the ringer a bit there, like, so, yeah, but you just got to keep on moving and keep getting it going. So it started. I can't believe it started. And then even the drama at the end, was it complete, was it not? So, but yeah, kept it together. It was a great competition today as well. It's really good to have a real close competition and then be fighting right to the end, level on points with Rob. You know, it's good for the crowds, good for GB as a whole.
And it's great for you. Full congratulations. And I know Rob's a good pal, and everyone backstage gets on great. So full credit to all. I know I can see your family getting visibly emotional at the sight of their boy and their brother doing so well today, mate. You're our British champion, and you're an incredible talent, and we'll wish you all the best for the Worlds. But what's next in preparation for that, Glenn?
Hopefully I can, finally make that final push and, get through that European ranking and get to the individual world championships and then fight it out there with the top guys in the world. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of competitions to go, but, I've had a good day today and we'll hope for the best. But, yeah, keep training and plough on to the next one.
Yeah, I know it's a real family affair for you. You come from a great tradition of lumberjacks and lumberjills now. Your sister's going tomorrow, so there'll be no rest for you. Talk us through what your day's like tomorrow, because we've got more competition. They've got the British female pros and the rookies. Are you, I know it's a watching brief, or are you a coaching brief for yourself tomorrow, Glenn?
I'll do whatever I can to help everyone out. They're all a great bunch of people. We've got some great women competing tomorrow. We've got Zoe going for it, Georgia going for it as well, my girlfriend. So, it's a bit of a tough one there. Who do I support? But they get on well. And the other women as well, that's going to be a fantastic competition. Then we've got some strong rookies as well. So we'll be helping them out as much as we can. And I think there's going to be two fantastic competitions tomorrow. So it's well worth coming again.
Yeah, superb work once again, Glenn. You go with our full congratulations from everyone here at British Timber Sports. Well done, sir. The 4th time in a row Great British Champion, Glenn Penlington. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone in the audience, for joining us here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on YouTube. Troy, heartfelt thanks to your good self for guiding us through so expertly for these past couple of hours in our Pro Championships. We hope you've had a good time. I certainly have.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, it was a great competition today. We do have one more order of business to take care of, and we're going to take a look at our European ranking to see where the various athletes stand. So Glenn Penlington currently 19 points atop the European ranking. Emil Hansson from Sweden and Vibjorn Sonsteby from Norway in 2nd and 3rd place, and Gavin Thompson in 4th place. But we do have several other competitions coming up in the remainder of the season. So at the moment, Glenn Penlington is in a very good position, as he talked about making that final push through to get to the World Championships. So he's done well today to get himself a good amount of points, and hopefully that will see him get there, as well as the European rankings continues to be seeded throughout the remainder of this season. So we hope you enjoyed yourselves today. And Alex, it was always fun to be with you here, and we got lots of action still to come tomorrow with the rookies and the women's competitions.
Thank you, Troy. Yes, you're welcome back anytime on our fair British Isles. It's been a pleasure working alongside you once again, Troy. 10 years for me, 40 years for Timber Sports. And yeah, I wish you and all our athletes the very best, not only in Milan in autumn, but we have tomorrow with our women and our rookies, and I'm very much looking forward to that. I think things are in a great place here in Great British Timber Sports.
Absolutely.